People are not trying to train their focus. They're only living on the memory. But you have to train yourself. It's like you're driving down the street and there's a big accident there, and you go, oh, well, it's up there. I can turn off on this street, that street. I can go around, or I can go there and I can just sit in the traffic. And it's like, well, I think I'll just turn off this way and I'll go down this road. Sure, I'll go around. Might take me a little while, but I'll get back on my path and I'll focus so I just can carry on my journey. Well, we're aware of a lot of things going on the earth, but people are only focusing just on whatever they believe is fear. In the natives, we always tell people, talk to the Earth Mother. She's the wisest, intelligent chemist, scientist. She's the one that decides what's going to go on. She's the schoolmaster. And so if you teach yourself to focus on the future, you're going to start glimpsing things. And you won't have time to just sink into the fear, because you're going to be busy creating, manifesting, doing different kinds of things, where people is just like, they just want to focus. Oh, this is so terrible. Oh, that's so terrible. I've known about prophecy. I've known about a lot of things that are going to happen on this planet for over 30 years. And there's nothing I can do to change that. So what is it can I do that I can focus that's going to lift the energy? Or what can I do around people? Or where can I put my focus to assist that? And people need to want to focus past whatever they're believing is fear. Because it's a challenge for you. Because when you're afraid, when you're paranoid, when you're sad, when you're frustrated, they shut your mind down. They shut your connection to the universe down. That's why children, they just channel. They're just in happiness and joy. And so when you realize all these things, you're like, well, how can I use my mind to the fullest capacity? Because I have children, I got friends, I got family. There's different parts of the world certain things will happen on. So where are we going to be? How am I going to do something to help them or myself? Or how am I going to search out certain things so I can lift the energy in a way that's beneficial for everyone? So it's really learning how to focus, because as we go more into the fourth and fifth, you don't know what the energy is. I don't really know what the energy is, but it's new. And people don't understand. You're going to create and manifest. At times you're not going to be sure if it was a good thing or a bad thing. But somewhere in it, you're going to hold your focus. You're going to do something to keep moving forwards. And in all of it, you're going to discover all these good things. And you're going to meet people along the way. And the more you focus on whatever it is, say, what is the fear and why are you just accepting the fear? If you got a little child, who's that child going to be in the future? Is he going to be a scientist? Is he going to be a mathematician? Is he going to be some kind of genius? Is he going to travel into the universe? Do you really want to see that? Do you want to help him to become all these things? Or are you just going to focus on the fear? So we need to look inside ourselves and say, well, how do I use my mind? That's why I always say our brain has millions of doors and millions of eyes. And when you learn how to focus, if you want to be the best tarot reader, you want to be the best psychic, you want to be the best crystal reader, I want to do crystal reading and I stare into this glass every day. If I stare at it long enough, something is going to happen. I'll see something. But if I keep focusing and focusing, something will go on. And that's where I use my mind to put it somewhere else. Instead of sitting here and going, well, I know there's earthquakes here and I know no use of living, so I'm just going to be sad and I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm just going to sit here all day being afraid. Doesn't do me any good. So where can you put your focus? If you're an energy worker, is there people you can teach? Is there people out there you can teach? Because there's a lot of people coming along. There are people out there that don't know anything about chakras. It's surprising. There's people out there that don't know all about auras and energy and grounding and all kinds of things. And they're trying to find somebody that's going to teach them and help them. Because they're afraid. People are telling them all kinds of stuff. And what part of the responsibility are you when you have knowledge? There's some sort of responsibility. It's like me, like how do I carry it? How do I help somebody? Like I can sit here and I could tell Mercedes and Cindy all kinds of terrible things and cause them nightmares and do all kinds of stuff, but I be responsible. I'm very careful on what I share with them, and when I feel it's safe or open, I will express something, or if they're curious, I'll sometimes I talk around it. I don't go right into it and feel it out. And I know one thing is don't go way too far ahead with the two of them because it sort of disrupts things. So I need to pull back and allow them
I don't
to
know
be
what you're
intense.
talking about. No, I'm just kidding.
So this is where, like, what can you handle? Because the universe gives you everything, and the universe only gives you what you can handle.
So how do we increase our capacity to handle things?
So the thing is like, where do I need to put my focus? Because once you start generating it in a positive way, you're going to build certain energies that's going to attract people, that's going to lift that energy, and then you're all holding it together. And then you'll open up another door and you'll step in and you'll do the next thing. So you have to support one another, and there's prayers. You pray to protect one another. Like I always pray you and Cindy both channel and get answers. So sometimes you can share stuff with me. It's not always me just channeling. And we go places, and I pray for a lot of different things to lift and go on constantly. So this is where, like I say, biggest thing we're not taught since we're children is how to use our mind to create. And where do we want to put it? Like some people say, I want a house, but they don't know what kind of house. They don't know if it's big or small, or even in what area they're going to actually buy the house. And once they have it, what is it going to be inside? Is there going to be one chair? Or are they going to be hoarders and it's going to be filled with all kinds of stuff and they're going to live on the outside of the house? So, like I say, when you put your focus somewhere, you start really, really seeing, and you're like, okay, in my house, these are kinds of things I want. So these are the kinds of things I'm going to end up in there. If I'm going to have a garden, how big is your garden? If you're going to have a pool in the backyard, how big is your pool?
User Margie is saying, when you speak the voice, energy, the accent, I see a Native American Indian leader or chief.
You see me as the American chief, or you see the spirit?
We'll see what she says.
I have a feeling she's from Ireland also, because she said good morning.
Cool.
Oh.
Well, good morning to everybody in Ireland. There's lots of spirits around me, and many people have seen me with a big headdress on. I've been told this for over 30 years, and people have told me different things through channelings and psychic readings and stuff. But I also have ancestors around me, and sometimes they come through and they'll project out their energy, and people will see that. Sometimes people see me as Middle Eastern. One person saw me as African. So spirits come in and people see different things. I don't really worry about it or anything. I just sort of allow all this to go on. That's where you accept the universe, and that reality is a lot bigger. And there's many, many dimensions. So they come in and they look at things because they're also looking at all of you wherever you're in the world. They can see because whatever we're doing here connects us all on some other spectrum. So they're coming in and looking at things to assist in answers and channelings and other things. So many, many angels and spirits work with me. I've been through a lot of tragedies and hardships and lots of different experiences. When I was about 9 years old, no, less than that, around 8 somewhere, I had an uncle who took me in the river and shoved me under the water, and then he would let me go when I couldn't swim and I'd just sink. Then I would wake up on the shore way down the river, and I'd come to and I get up and I head back to town. And he did this to me quite a few times, so I crossed to the other side. Each time I crossed to the other side and I came back, I was different. I saw things different. I knew things. I was aware of stuff. One time I was sinking and my arms were up, and all of a sudden it was like this golden light come around me, and I was sinking, it was getting black and cold, but it just felt so good just to let go and not even care. And in my mind I'm like, I guess it's time to come home, Father. I was saying, and I was talking to the universe and God and that. And I woke up, I don't know how long later, I drifted down the river and I was on the shore. And I had all kinds of images and things in my mind on what I saw on the other side. So each time I came back, I brought in a lot of different things. And it opened me up to see lots of stuff on the planet. And it even opened me up to the future, where as a child I saw the earthquakes in the future. I saw all kinds of things. And I used to think as a child they were nightmares, but my granddad got me to realize I was seeing things way in my future. And there were a lot of other elders around me. Sometimes they would see things and sometimes it would frighten them, but they'd tell me what they saw and explain it to me. So through these experiences on the other side, like I say, everybody carries an energy, and if you cross to the other side, there's something you came back that you carry. And I've been to the other side quite a few times. Like, I tell people that those experiences, but lots of the stuff I brought in, it's sort of sealed till the universe wants me to share it with the world. I tried earlier on in life to share stuff, and it wasn't time, and I learned, and so the universe put sort of a buffer there, so when the time is ready, I'll bring a lot of things through. But I know a lot of things. Like I say, the universe has given me a lot of stuff, and I sat with a lot of different elders and people where they just channeled all kinds of stuff, and they even shared their prophecies and knowledge with me. And at the time, I didn't fully understand it all because I thought I had to decide or agree, and they'd say, no, no, up there, they're saying we have to pass this on to you so you can carry it. And some of those elders passed on years ago, and the stuff they gave me, they felt was very important. They weren't able to share it, but the universe told them to pass it to me, and when the time is right, I'll open it up and give it to the world, to whoever wants to use it for the highest good. And like I say, there's just things, and sometimes I tell Cindy I know a lot of things. It's like I carry a lot of secrets, and when it's time, it just seems to open. And sometimes I wonder if I share too early or whatever, but after it's done, I usually go, oh, well, I guess it's meant to be there on the surface. So, but yeah, there's lots of things, and the universe is very big. The Earth Mother has so much. She's got so much love for us all. She got so much love for the four-leg and all the things she's created, her children, the standing people, and everything. And she's trying to connect with us. But people are so busy, or they're so in their fears, they just can't connect. They can't stop their minds from going berserk, trying to run around. I'm like, where are you going? You going to the moon? You're going to go hide on Venus? You're going the other side of the sun until everything's over, and then you're going to come back to the earth and go, woohoo, I did it. It's like, where are you going to run to? And if you get too excited, you're going to run into an area that might not be really that good. And some of us are being given things and the universe is trying to say, you need to move here. And you're being drawn somewhere inside, you're dreaming things and that, but you're going, no, 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 I'm not going there. But the Earth Mother is trying to find every way to provide for your future, for your happiness, for your children's future, for your friends and your family. And you have to be in an area where it's sustained. One of the things I like people to read is Dolores Cannon's Nostradamus hypnosis books. There's a lot of stuff in there about what's going on now. And there's things, because people say, well, where's a safe place? I say in Canada, 3 places that are safe is Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba. Because of what's going to go on the planet, there needs to be food. There has to be something to sustain the people. And these 3 places, they grow a lot of grain and other kinds of things. But they're on the old shield, the old mountain that has worn down. It's a really, really solid place, and there's a lot of places that are, like I say, there's fault lines and other kinds of things that are gonna make things happen. So there's other places like that on the earth too, and you can ask the Earth Mother. She'll show you where. She'll guide you there. It's like when you look at Yellowstone. There's a image, I don't know, somewhere on the computer. If you look from up above where the computer shows, and they show the bulge of Yellowstone and the pressures under the earth pushing it up. So what's going to set that off? How big of a radius is it going to affect? So when you look at all these things, you go, okay, this is there. So where do I need to move just to be safe? You don't freak out. I just ask the universe, and something is going to guide and help you.
Cool. I feel like I'm streaming so many different things. Tracy Stickwood's in watching, and
Okay.
she's wondering, what do you want to experience spiritually that you have yet to discover?
I want to see the new worlds that are there waiting for people to inhabit. There's new planets where people are going to move to. And that's one of the things I want. I've asked years ago if that is something that I can actually do, is like go on one of the spaceships, go out there and see these new planets and come back. And we'll see. Like I say, in the 60s and 70s, people said, I'm going to go into cryostasis. There's going to be UFOs coming. I'm going to board it. I'm just going to go to sleep. When I wake up, I'm just going to be on this planet, and I'm just going to carry on living. And they're not worried about it. They just know it's something that's going to come about. And still today, there's a lot of people that talk about it. And some of them are already prepared. And when this goes on, they're just going to carry on. And once they're on that other planet, they'll forget about this one, and they'll create a whole new whatever it is they're going to create. So, yeah, that's one of the things I want to see.
How would you suggest for a person to ground and to connect with Earth Mother? What kind of practice would you suggest?
Walk in the forest, sit on the earth, meditate. Find a way to connect with the earth. Grow plants. Stick your hands in the dirt. Carry your rocks in your pocket. I always carry about 20 pounds in my pocket. I carry meteorites. I carry rocks. I carry a buffalo tooth. I carry all kinds of things to connect me, because it connects me to the animals. It connects to me all kinds of different energies. So anything that's like a vibration that's connected to the earth, because the animals are really, and that's what talismans do. Talismans, if you really understand them, they really carry a vibration of some kind, and they allow you to have that connection. And if you have the right rock and crystal, it can do really lots. Like with the base chakra, a lot of people need their base chakra energy to slow down. So carry a garnet. Garnet is the base chakra, and it slows things down. By slowing it down, it helps you to connect and grow roots and feel safe. If you're scared, check with one of your chakras. One of them might be spinning too fast, causing you things. Find a way to slow it down. Get a crystal that might match with that chakra and just slow it down and bring it into balance.
Someone is asking, do tarot readings bring in negative energy?
Depends on the person. When you do tarot readings, you call in the angels, you call in the guardians, you call in the higher light. And some people, when they do tarot readings, they don't really fully understand this, or they don't know who's channeling or what's coming through. And a lot of things is clearing your cards. Mercedes bought a new deck of cards not long ago, and I was told that she had to smudge each card. So we're sitting by a campfire, and I took them out and I smudged each card, asking, because wherever she bought it from, there was a lot of energy and stuff attached. So first thing we opened it, she cleared it, and then I took it and I personally went through each card, put it over the smoke, asked the universe to bless the cards to only bring good and positive and whatever is in it. So I went through each one and asked the universe to bring an angel of protection. So when she goes to use it, it'll bring something really big from the universe, either for her or for other people, depending on what the purpose behind the cards are. I always believe if a person is a tarot reader, clear the energy after every person. Because I've gone and got tarot readings, and a person had got a reading before me, and I sat down after they got out to say, okay, you know, and I sat down, and the person didn't even break the energy with the deck. They just shuffled it together and said, here. And usually you smack it or you do something that's going to blow the energy apart. And sometimes they hold it and they ask that the energy get cleared, and they focus, then they give it and say, okay, now. And then, so I'd sit there and ask questions. When I felt ready, put it down. They said, cut it. But even the person sitting in the chair, their energy is still there. So I've sat down in other people's energy, and the person that was doing a reading told me all the stuff for the person that was there before. And none of it came through for me because she hadn't cleared the energy. She hadn't disconnected to now reconnect in with my energy. And this is where there's a crossover sometimes, because people are trying to do two things too fast and try to find out where you need to disconnect the energy. Because some people are so dialed in, they don't realize somebody sits down, they just start streaming this stuff for the last person.
I have a question here from June Gord. She would like your insights that she found a crystal in her house and she did not put it there. She believes that it's a tiger's eye.
Mm-hmm.
What are your insights on that? People are sharing with her what they think, but she would like your opinion.
Yeah, just get the tiger's eye, or I know there's hawk's eye and other things. It just feels it's supposed to help you with your third eye or something like that. And the iron in it is to connect you deeper into the earth, because tiger's eye has iron and things in it, but I don't get anything negative from it. So spirit may have brought it for you for a while, and somewhere it may just disappear. When I was a child, I had a lot of things appear in my room, and I'd ask my granddad how it got in there, and say, oh, you don't worry about it. And so it would be there. I'd be curious. One day I'd go in my room and it would be gone, and things would do that all the time. One day I'd find something on my bed. I'd show it to my granddad. Oh, don't worry, just go in your room. If it was a book and that, I'd look at it, whatever. And then another day, because I would hide it from my cousins and that, because they'd ask me where I got it from, thinking I might have stole it or something like that. So I'd hide things, and then one day I go in my room and everything would be gone. So I don't really get anything negative from it. I feel it's there to assist you in some way. There's something you prayed or something you wanted. And if you could think back on what some of your prayers and look up what tiger's eye does, because you're going to find a lot of different versions of what people say tiger eye does. But I know for some people it actually does things to assist with the third eye, and that there's hawk's eye, and there's one other one that I know that can do a little for the third eye, but with the iron in it and the other heavy metals, it'll connect you really deep in with the earth. So maybe carry it on you. Like my partner, when she used to go to work and she wore pants without pockets and that, I used to give her crystals and she just place it in her bra. Nobody has to know that you got this crystal on you. You can have it with you, or you can carry it in your pocket, or you can, make it into a little pendant and wear it, but feels like it's something you need to carry and wear and use for a while.
What can you say or speak to about the Holy Spirit, like its existence?
It's the light. It's the light in everything. It's in the trees, it's in the rocks, it's in the animals, it's in the water. And it's a living energy, and it's conscious, it's very ancient, and it's way wiser. We think we can command it and tell it what to do. It's very patient and loving, and it knows when to come in and how to help you. And it tries to help you. When you close your eyes, sometimes you just see a light, or you see purple, or you see red, or you see green, or sometimes you see things dancing and moving. That light is in everything. It's even in the darkness. You can go into the darkest darkness, and that light is somewhere in there, and you'll find and discover it. And it is a mystery, because it's only going to help you in this lifetime to what you need to attain. And if you understand it and you learn how to ask it questions and you learn how to focus, like I say, you got to put your focus, your desires, and your thoughts in a direction. And when you do those sorts of things, it'll respond to you. And it comes from the Creator. It permeates everything. Everything that's ever been created has that light and that energy. And you can call it Holy Spirit. You can give it all kinds of names. Like I say, every culture has a name for it. one of the ones in ancient times, I think even Jesus might have used, was Namaste is the light in you and the light in me, or the light in the trees or the animals, or because there's a spark and an energy that's a God source.
What can you say about when a person dreams of animals, specifically an eagle is being asked here?
The spirits coming to you, I always say they're just angels disguised as animals. They're trying to find a way to give you some form of an answer or something like that. Yeah, so with animals in every culture, we always knew we were connected, and animals are there. They have intelligence, they have healing, they have knowledge, they have lots of things. And some people are connected to horses, and horses do things to help a person. Like they eat things from the earth, and they know things how to heal their bodies. So if an eagle is coming into your dreams, that we say the eagle fly the highest because it goes high, 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 high. In all the cultures, well, throughout time, no matter where you go, Rome or anywhere, you're going to find the eagle. They put it on a staff. It was above everybody, and it was a very powerful symbol. And like I say, it's connected to the creator, or it's bringing you answers, or it's going to show or help you something.
Many natives say white sage is sacred only to natives and shouldn't be used by others. What are your thoughts?
White sage doesn't grow naturally here. White sage, I think, comes from Arizona. So in Arizona, in that area, wherever it grows, it was sacred to the people there. But now it's all over the world, and people can buy seeds and grow their own. So you don't have to go into the wild and kill it off. And the universe put all plants on the earth for everybody. And if a person's using it to heal, to pray, to do something, then that is their right and privilege. Nobody has a right to tell them they can't. Wherever I go, I harvest plants from the wild. Like not long ago, I was up in the mountains picking bare root. I picked sage here in this area. So this is the wild bare root. And it smells like celery. And like I say, it's a medicine. And it helps you in a lot of ways. People commented a lot on the video that was put out on the bare root picking. But all plants belong to everybody. And the plants will call to you. And if you're meant to use white sage, it's going to come to you. And nobody has a right to tell you you can do it or you can't. This is where you ask your angels and God. I always tell people, if you got a problem with me, talk to them up there, because they know everything and you can argue with them. Because if they're telling me something, I'm going to say it. And if you got a problem and they don't like it, they will decide to argue with you, not me. So even with elders and other people, I always say, well, talk to them up there, because this is what they're saying and this is what they're showing and telling me. And I rely on the universe, the angels, God. I talk to the Earth Mother. She has never told me anybody has a right to whatever plants. When I talk to her, if I know something about plants, I ask her and she's like, well, share this with a person. So I will share things. It's like in India, they grow sandalwood and they harvest it and they make incense and they sell it all around the world. They do the same thing with jasmine. The Tibetans, they have resins and other things, and they sell different kinds of incense sticks and amber and other kinds of resins that they use in their prayers and that, and they sell it all over the world because it belongs to the world. They don't say it's ours. Only Tibetans can use it. Indians and other people in the Middle East, or the Jews or the Arabs or the Muslims, they don't say the amber and the, what's the other one? Frankincense is theirs. They let everybody on the earth use it. So everything is there, and I think it's people who make these laws or these beliefs. And like I say, you can believe and follow it. It's your choice. But if it's meant for you and you're doing good and it's helping people and helping you, I don't see the wrong in it. I don't know, with this reporting and that, it's like I grew up native. I worked really hard because residential school was designed to destroy that. When I was a little boy, I was taken and put in there so I wouldn't speak my language. So I wouldn't learn how to live the native way. And so The residential school was there to destroy all the native cultures, all our ceremonies and all our practices. We were not allowed to practice our own beliefs and our own kinds of ceremonies. The sun dance and everything wasn't allowed, and they were finally giving us back in the 70s. So up until about 1970, like, we hid it and we kept it a secret, trying to use it and survive. And now they've given it back to us, and now the natives are like, we're not sharing. And all the prophecies say that natives have to give their wisdom and knowledge to the world. But there's a lot of people out there that's saying no. There's different factions and groups are trying to stop this. Some of them say it's their power. I'm like, it's not power if it's not going to help the planet and every human being. And it doesn't benefit anybody. And what went on with me in the residential school was not nice. And it was designed to destroy us. It was designed to turn us into alcoholics. It was designed to turn us into criminals. It was designed to turn us into psychopaths, so we destroy one another. So we wouldn't connect with our ancestors. We wouldn't connect with the Earth Mother. We wouldn't learn how to come back together and love one another and become a community again and support one another the way the natives did. The natives used to always work together in a group, and they would learn from one another. The tribes would share and do things because they knew they had to survive, so they had to work together. There were times where they had wars and skirmishes, but they had peace treaties between one another, and they tried to come up and evolve and grow and do things. And usually the most strongest dominant tribe usually was like the one that governed everybody for thousands of miles, everybody within a certain range. They would sort of be like the governing ones trying to keep peace. And so with the residential school, which was used in Australia to destroy the Aborigines, which was used in many, many other cultures, it was taken from England and put all around the world and used in a way that was devastating to the cultures to try to annihilate their connections to their beliefs. Because the natives were very strong in their beliefs. They had no fears. They didn't have superstitions. They knew the Creator. I can go and sit in the forest. I could sit under a tree and I could pick up a leaf and I could sit there for a while and the leaf will start showing and telling me things. I could pick up a feather and start talking to that feather, and then the spirit in nature will start teaching and showing me things. And we didn't have these superstitions. There's a lot of stories over the last 500 years that got distorted and changed and altered. And a lot of people, they say, oh yeah, this is what this means and that means. And basically, everybody on the earth has to realize we're just children of the earth. We're not Indians, we're not Eskimos, we're not white, we're not black, we're not Chinese, we're not Russians, and we're not Ukrainians and Poles and all of this. Our bodies came from the earth. We're the children of the earth. And we're going to realize this not too long into the future, and we're going to realize to become one nation. We're going to eventually get rid of all the other languages and beliefs that don't serve the light, that's not advancing and growing. We're not going to bother with all of these different kinds of things. This is where people get jealous. And the natives are meant to share this. God's going to make people speak out, and people are going to get attacked because the real people who are really of light, they're the minority. There's 7 billion people on this planet, and there's maybe 500 million people who want to hold the light for 7 billion. That's very, very little. And you got 7 billion want to tar and feather everybody or stop them from sharing knowledge and wisdom. Like I say, it's about stopping fear. Because when you're not afraid, they can't control you. And you're going to find the answers. You're going to discover the truth in all kinds of other cultures. You're going to be able to do something, and you're going to be blessed to open things with the universe. You're going to discover keys and answers and all kinds of other things. So this is where the residential school tried to destroy my mind. And it made me very, very angry. Up until I was 30, you wouldn't believe. If you saw me when I was 30, you wouldn't come near me. I was so angry from what went on and why it happened. Why did the cops in the welfare just come to my granddad's, take me and throw me on a plane and send me off to this big warehouse? When I got there, they shaved my head, took all my clothes away, and gave me a number. I was a number. I wasn't a human being. Every Sunday, they sent me into the church or the rectory or whatever they called in that residential school, and they screamed at us how God wasn't going to do anything, and he was going to let Satan come and take every last one of us into hell and burn us just for being people. And he said we were the heathens and we held the evil on the planet. And this psycho preacher ran this residential school. And he loved harming children and destroying minds and everything. And he made me really hate. And I decided at 9 years old to run away from that prison and live on the streets and survive on my own. And I learned how to survive. And it was not easy. And I had to use the universe and things. But after a lifetime, my granddad always told me, heal and learn. Always search, always answer, always study, always talk to people. I talk with Jews, I talk with anybody. I'll sit in a Buddhist temple and sit with any Buddhist from any culture. I'll go to sit with Tibetans. I know 2 Tibetan lamas. I know a Tibetan medicine man. He's a friend of mine. I can go and sit and talk with him about anything. And there's knowledge. Astrology has so much knowledge. It's a true ancient science. But they don't want you to know this. They don't want you to know that your angels can appear in front of you and talk to you, can show you the future. The Earth Mother is a living thing, and she can guide and teach and take care of you. She can do all kinds of stuff. They want you to be afraid. So there's people out there now, they're jealous, and they're doing things to affect. So with all this damage from the residential school, I turned it around. And 30 years later, here I am today, and I'm sharing what I've learned, what I've had to fight to find. It was my right to learn. I went into ceremonies. They're trying to hide it and say, oh, no, no, no. My partner here, she wanted to do a vision quest. And we went to this one tribe. And we did everything, protocols, everything. And they denied her. And I'm like, why? She came here and she followed through and did everything right. But they told her she couldn't. I'm like, that's not with the Creator. That's not spiritual. We are supposed to enlighten and help one another, and we're supposed to share knowledge. All the other cultures are doing it on the planet. The yogis, the gurus, the Tibetans. I mean, you go anywhere in Europe and their temples are wide open. They invite you and they share all their knowledge. But now the natives are saying no. You go to Central America, anywhere you go down there, the medicine men and them are shamans, and they're all trying to share the plants, the medicines, the knowledge, any kind of thing they're trying to gift to the world. Mm-hmm. But the natives are now, like last week, somebody called me a colonizer, and I'm like, go ahead and call me that. I didn't create the residential schools, I was put in one. I had my mind destroyed and I survived it. I healed many, many scars and things that have gone on in my life. And there still hurts in me I'm still learning to deal with. But I'm taking what I learned and the love and all these good things and trying to share it with the world. I'm like, don't look at things to be depressed. Don't say life is so terrible. You don't know what terrible is. And if you got a house over your head, you got more than a lot of people. If you got food in your cupboard, you got more than most people. If you can go to a movie and go out and do something. I got friends and relatives that live on Skid Row, and every day they don't know they're going to be alive tomorrow. I was on Skid Row. I know hardships. When I was a little boy, I know how it is to be hungry for days, scared, not sure if somebody's going to beat you to death or what's going to go on. So stop trying to see things as so difficult. Start celebrating that you have something. Celebrate you got nice clothes, whatever it is. And stop trying to see everything as just really, really difficult, because it's going to come very fast and it's going to end, and before you know, we're in the future. So I'm going to go on speaking. I'm going to go on sharing, and I'm going to ask the universe to bring more. I'm going to call more and more spirits. There are spirits in this area that want to share their knowledge with everybody in this area. It don't matter what the cultures are. But these natives don't want to do it. They're on the reserves. They're hiding in this tiny little thing, and they're just destroying one another. And they're saying it's our power. But there are spirits. I can call a spirit from that reserve and say, can you come in here and reveal and show me things that I need to know that you want me to share with the world? They'll come to me because they know I will do it. They don't care what those natives think on the reserve, because those natives are not honoring the creator. They're not honoring their ancestors. They're not sharing the medicines. They're not doing things to heal. They're just destroying one another. I'm here to stand up against all of that. And I spent my lifetime reading. People tell me I need to read more books. You should have seen the books I've read. I'm 61 years old. I've done a lot of reading because nobody wanted to give me answers. Nobody wanted to say, here, this is what it is. You see the Masons, walking out of their temples and just handing out all their knowledge to everybody. No, it's a secret. You got to join them, and maybe they won't allow you into their little club. Maybe they think you're a threat to their knowledge and they don't want to reveal it to you. So people have to fight for their knowledge. And once you have earned it, once you have discovered the good in it, share it with people. Sit down with somebody else and let them realize they can open up their heart and find beauty and joy. And they can take that knowledge and help other people. So I believe the plants belong to everybody. And if you're using it right, God bless you. And even more blessings come to you. Because there's not very much on this planet, and you have to think about this minority. What is a minority? What is all these different things? Because if there's only 500 million people on the planet and there's 7 billion and there's only 500 million of us praying and believing in God and a better world in the future, who's there to support the children that are being born? Who are their teachers? Who are carrying the knowledge inside them to give to these little children when they get older? So these are kinds of things I think about all the time. And I pray for the future. I've been praying for the future for 30 years. And I'm going to keep praying for the future until I'm standing there celebrating with everybody.
I wanted to bring up one thing because a lot of people were saying, like, I'm sorry this happened to you and all of that. Like, do you ever want people to feel sorry for you?
No, I don't believe in it. My granddad never believed in it. I don't think there's a culture on this planet that ever believed in sorry or having pity or anything like that. It does not honor. I've survived it all. I'm here today. I got lots of love to give. I got a lot of knowledge to share. And I want to help the world, and I try my best by doing meditations and clearings and whatever I can do. And if I can teach people about medicines and plants and other things, then I try to do my best. And it's like me with my family and that. I don't feel sorry for none of them. I don't feel sorry for my mom. My mom's had a very difficult, hard life, and soon she'll journey to the other side. And I'm going to celebrate because she's not going to suffer anymore. She's not going to be afraid. She's not going to hurt. While she's on the other side, she'll see, understand, she'll heal. And me and her can communicate in the spirit world. And she'll understand and know everything. So everybody has choices in life. And like I say, if there's something difficult going on in your life, reflect on yourself. What is causing it? What is the challenge? Why is this going on? It's like there's different things that may be going on, or maybe there's something disharmonious. Maybe there's a way you're believing that's affecting everything. Maybe everybody's coming to you trying to give you answers, but you're so afraid, believing it's all negative or something, and you're sending out energy that's disruptive. So try to find the answers and peace inside, because you need to carry that. To go in the fourth and fifth dimension, you got to stop being superstitious. You got to stop being afraid. You got to stop being paranoid. You got to stop looking at the negative. If you're going to create and be in the fifth dimension, fourth dimension in the future, you got to be able to focus and manifest and create really, really beautiful things. You have to lift your own soul in light. You got to bring your energy up higher and higher, because you got to support other people. Once you all get there, you can support one another. In my life, I've been supporting people ever since I was about 5 years old. I've been supporting and pulling people up and praying and doing stuff. Even in my difficulties, even in my hardships, I would pray for people. My granddad always taught me that. So this is where we have to really, really go deep inside. Got to stop this, oh, poor me. Oh, my poor emotions. Oh, I need to cry. My life is so difficult. No, slap yourself. Come on, smarten up.
My grandma would say, dry up.
Like you look at the people from England and the Germans and others after World War II. None of them used pity. Mm-hmm. None of them felt sorry for one another. They rebuilt everything.
Mhm.
Look at all those people. Some of them are still alive and they were bombed. They had their houses blown up. They had relatives, everybody killed. The Jews had people annihilated in these camps, and they had all kinds of weird, bad things. None of them feel sorry. They're looking to the future. They're trying to survive and get in the future. None of them are saying, "Oh, you poor thing. Oh, all your family got gassed by Hitler. Hey, that's done. Like, do you have children and good things now? Celebrate and look at that and go forward." I got friends from Europe when I was a child. There's one guy I knew, and he told me when he was a little boy, it was so scary because the bombs would come in the night and they'd just hear these big booms and buildings would blow apart and everything. And they would have to run down into these underground things, shelters where they had to stay until the air raids were over. And then they'd come out, and sometimes the whole neighborhoods were just flattened and devastated. And people were dead and everything, and they just carried on. And even in his adult years, he still had nightmares and fears because it devastated and scarred his mind so bad, and he couldn't quite ever really get over it. He couldn't let it go. He just was stuck in it. And it would trigger and activate, and he'd just go through really difficult times. And with my granddad, he never felt sorry. He always saw what was going on. He would give people answers. He'd try to find a way to help them. It's like, if you feel sorry, well, go and give this person a fish. Oh, they eat really good, boy, they feel good, and then they wait, well, they're going to come bring me another fish. So a couple of days later, you bring that person a fish again. You do this for about 5 years, and you're like, well, geez, why am I bringing that fish to that person? Well, maybe I should teach them how to make a net. And I'll take them to the place I go fishing. Maybe I'll get them to put a log in the water and paddle it out and put this net in the water, and all of a sudden they get 10 fish. Now they can eat and eat and eat and eat, but they got to go and work for it. Now they can do that. Maybe they can teach somebody else how to make a fish net and go and fish for their own.
Has asked the question about any advice for people seeking knowledge. And right there, it's like you can't just always give the knowledge. The person has to seek it.
You have to do something. And if you're asking the universe is going to find you teachers. It's going to find you knowledge. It's going to find people. Wherever you are, if you're in a small town, you're in a city, even in small towns, there's all kinds of spiritual people. There's all kinds of people with knowledge, and the universe knows who that is. If you need a meditating group, if you're praying and everything, they will find it for you. Somehow it will come to you. Somebody will invite you or something like that. And you're going to find yourself connecting to all kinds of amazing things. So your desire to learn, or you could sit there and just be afraid. And when you're afraid and you're paranoid, you don't succeed at anything. There's a book in front of you, you spend 2 years looking at it. Oh, I'm just too worried that there's going to be an earthquake. 2 years went by. Why didn't you read the book?
Someone here is asking, what is the golden one? It's the first time they heard that term.
Golden ones are beings from higher up. So when you go through your chakras, base chakra red, sacral orange, solar plex yellow, heart chakra pink and green, throat chakra is a bluish kind of color. I think the third eye is like a turquoise, or it's sort of a higher energy, or it's backwards. I can't remember which is which. And then
Indigo.
yeah, and then indigo, and it goes up into the purple and higher. And then it goes, I think it's sort of like a diamond color, then it goes silver, then it gold, and then it goes higher. And you got higher and higher and higher chakras above you. It's like your auric field. There's millions of layers, and you're like an accordion, and you squash all those millions of layers into this small little thing. But every now and then you expand it out and you open up these auric layers, and they expand you out into the universe, into other things. When you're gifted, you have certain kinds of gifts that opens up your auric field. A lot of people, they have empathic, and in their empathic, they open up their auric fields, which makes them protect. From childhood, they started doing this. They have protections, they have other kinds of things, and this is how they sense and know things. And all these different levels have things, but the golden ones are beings from higher. And if the golden ones come to you, then they're something really, really high, and they're there to help you and teach you. When I was a little boy, they used to always come to me. And it was really, really neat because I'd be in my bedroom and it would go to turn into this golden color. Sometimes even my skin and everything would be a golden color. And then they would start talking to me and showing me things.
There is a question
Yeah.
about alcohol consumption.
Alcohol and addictions. You want to
Yeah.
talk a bit about that?
What is the
What
cost
does
of it?
alcohol do,
Yeah.
Joe?
I don't know. Can you girls explain that one to me?
Cindy?
Can you share with them the vision that Margaret had when she was in the pub?
This person I knew in the past, very psychic, very gifted, very tuned in. And she was at work, and this was before I had met her, and she was invited by friends. It was a birthday party, and there was all the girls in the where she worked. They're gonna go out afterwards, and they went up and they says, "Hey, you want to come with us to the party?" And she asked her guides, and her guide said, "Yeah, go." So they went off, and they went in this bar, and they're all sitting around, and they're drinking and doing stuff, and celebrating this girl's party. And then all of a sudden the universe opened up her third eye and made her look around, and the whole bar was full of entities, and all kinds of things were just crawling around. There was a guy not far away at a table, and he was just so drunk, and she could see his soul slowly trying to fall out of his body. And he grabbed his beer, he'd go like this, and he's holding it, and he's like gonna bring it to his lips, and all these spirits are like, and their lips are stretching, and there's like they all want to drink, and he's like, and he's slowly bringing it in, and he would take a drink, and then he'd pick up a cigarette to smoke, and all these spirits would come in, and he'd take a big puff and blow it, and he'd just suck up all of this stuff, and they're just feeding off him. And she says, eventually she saw his soul fall out of his body and hit the floor, and all these entities went inside his body, and they were just partying and having fun while this guy's energy was out of his body. In the native culture, we say when you drink, your soul leaves your body for 4 days. It's poison. It opens you up to a lot of different negative things. It alters your energy in different ways. It attracts things. It does a whole bunch of different things. So when you understand this, that your body is a sacred temple, because in the Muslims, you go way back in time, they called alcohol al-Kul, and what it meant was soul eater. Is why they call it that. And still today, the Muslims will not drink. They know it does things, and they still practice this. They will not allow alcohol into their system. The natives were that way until the Europeans came here, and then they got into alcohol, and then it just devastated them. But like I say, it's different for everybody. Some people say it's medicine. Some people say it's this and that. Like some cultures believe that, so whenever they eat, they have alcohol. But it doesn't do anything. It destroys the liver. It destroys the mind. It destroys lots of things. You can find all kinds of scientific studies what this poison, mild poison, does over time. And if you really open your third eye and you look at an alcoholic, you're going to see all kinds of entities and all kinds of things around. When they go snaky, that's when these spirits or mind are wide open and they can't, and then they see all kinds of weird things and spirits and bad stuff and voices and all kinds of crazy things go on. But I never really preached that. I drank in the past. I did it to numb myself. I did it to not feel or hurt or anything, and it was a way to shut myself off so I wouldn't feel. And I thought it would help me shut down my gifts, but sometimes it made my gifts worse. And when I'm drunk, I had no filters, so I'd say a lot of shit to people that they didn't like. So sometimes, like I say, we use certain things for a reason, and we've done it so long, but then it just becomes a way of being. And then some days we're just like, I'm done with it. And somewhere you realize your body is a beautiful temple, and your soul wants to be in something very sacred and beautiful. And so what are you going to put into it? What are you going to do to make it that beautiful, sacred thing? So there's so much on alcohol. If you really wanted to search, I've read a lot. After I quit drinking, I read so much on it. I used to go and sit in AA meetings with friends and that. I don't preach AA. I believe if you believe in God, God's going to help you. And once you're sober, you're sober. You don't need to go around the rest of your life saying, I'm AA, I'm alcoholic, I'm this and that. I don't believe in that. I know I drank. I know that was a part of my past, but for 30 years, I have not touched drink. I choose to live this way, and I love it. I love waking up, looking myself in the morning. I don't have a hangover. I didn't spend all my money. I wasn't blacked out. I didn't get in a lot of trouble. I'm not going around being angry and everything and having, only way I could be happy is if I get drunk. And so for everybody, it's different. And you need to find inside you what you think about it. If you read the books Telos, it talks about it a little bit in there. I think there's a few other books you can find where they talk about that. In natives, like with our sweat lodges and our ceremonies, they say, if you're going to come to the sweat lodge, don't drink or do drugs 4 days before the ceremony because we want your energy and your soul in you. We don't want you hurt.
What about like tobacco and smoking and stuff?
We believe tobacco is an offering. So smoking cigarettes, we don't believe is right because you're ingesting it into your body. And before the white man came, the natives all had pipes and they would use it in a ceremony, and they didn't smoke it. They would light their pipes and they would use it for prayers and offerings and to get answers and blessings. And then they took it to Europe, and then everybody started rolling cigarettes and smoking pipes and lots of stuff. Still in Peru, they use mupachos in their ceremonies. They take the smoke and they'll blow it at you to blow away all the bad spirits, because the smoke grabs onto things and it pulls it away. So if you're praying and you're thinking really positive and asking the universe, it will take things away. Same with smudge. Smudge does the same thing. It's like showering, it's like washing. The sage, the juniper, the cedar, the bare root, the sweetgrass, all these things, sandalwood, jasmine, frankincense, myrrh, all these things, when you're burning them, praying and asking for the light, it's going to take things away. And the more you do that in your home and the more you believe God's going to cleanse and protect you, it's just going to get rid of things. And it really protects you. It heals inside your body. It heals outside. It cleans and heals your chakras in your front and in your back. Because the back chakras are the old past lives. Chakras in front are your future, and maybe there's somebody there trying to push your way into your life, projecting, interfering, trying to deflect or pull you in a different way. So maybe you need your front chakras clear to that. So if that's going on, sorry, I don't accept that. My path is this way and I'm going in this direction. So sometimes you need something to assist or release things around you. So smudging is very powerful, and tobacco is the same thing. You can take it and burn it. You can put it in a fire. Like I like doing that. I like throwing tobacco in the fire with a prayer. I do the same thing with sage. Sometimes I have a big fire and I let the smoke go wherever it needs on the planet, whoever needs it. If it's for the Earth Mother, then she receives it all, and she needs prayers and energy and things. So I give a lot to her. Sometimes I bury sage and other things in the earth to ask God to use that to give her more healing energy and other stuff. Whatever she needs, I try to do what I can. But like I say, everybody sees different. And in the natives, we say that the tobacco is supposed to be sacred, used in the pipe. So don't just carry a pack of cigarettes and go around smoking, because it's not honoring the spirit of the tobacco. That some of you have angels and guides, so sometimes you ask, everybody receives something good, and the spirits hear it and they just amplify it. Like I say, I try to do my prayer to incorporate as many things, because we don't think of these things in our daily lives. When we pray, most people, it's like, God help me, and blah, 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 blah. Or they'll say, our Father who art in heaven. They'll just say something that's programmed. In natives, we like recognizing the living life forces that come from Creator and the interlinked life web and all the other kinds of things. So I'm going to start asking the universe to bring in the light and the energy for everybody, and invite it into your home when I get to that point. Invite it into your mind and body. Invite it into your family. Ask it to protect your family in whatever way. Some of them don't want to grow spiritually, and some of them are not here for that right now. So allow them to be on their path and just keep believing that they're going to find the answer and change when they're ready. And maybe it's in 100 lifetimes you'll meet them somewhere in the future and you'll shake hands and they're like, wow, you made it, you're in the light now. So I'll call in the Creator and we'll start. Call in the Central Sun, the Creator, the Great Mystery, God, whatever it is people believe that brings in safety and security. Ask it to come through our sun into this world, this galaxy, to all the other planets, to all the other beings, to help them evolve as our planet is changing and evolving, because we're all going through something that's really big and we're all assisting one another. So we need to also recognize and understand they need our prayers also. Ask the energy to come to the planet, come down to each one of our homes, into each one of our bodies, into our minds, into our aura, into our chakras, to fill us. Ask the light to come in, ask it to clear out our crown chakra, our energies. Whatever negative things that are above us, whatever is trying to interfere or block or whatever is going on, ask it to clear it out. Ask it to come inside your mind and activate the millions of doors, the millions of eyes that see all dimensions, that see the past, that see the future, that also understand all kinds of things, because there's many, many things you've learned in thousands and thousands of lifetimes that's stored within you. And then there's millions and millions of angels that are aware too, that are conscious. So allow the Creator to do this, to really, really open you up and bring you peace, bring you wisdom. If you know prophecies and you don't know how to handle them, ask to receive those answers so you're at peace. You'll find those people that you're meant to meet. You'll find your spiritual family. You'll find those places that are safe on the planet, and you'll go and you'll support one another. You'll grow your own gardens. You'll stop worrying about cities and towns and stores. You'll start finding a way to take care of yourself. And you'll start feeling peace and joy as you share with people. And you'll pray for everyone. If you're one of the minority, you're here to carry a light and wisdom. Then go inside and ask how to pray for other people and for your life and your future. It'll get bigger and bigger, and it'll change all kinds of things in many, many ways. Ask that light to go down into your third eye and expand it. To really, really see. Ask God to see through you, hear through you, speak through you. So God's hearing through you, then He hears everything, sees everything, knows everything. So He will give you answers. He will give you knowledge. He'll give you wisdom. And if you're seeing things you don't understand, write it down. Don't focus on it. Don't worry about it when you're having dreams and that. Write it down. Say, I'll come back to it later. I'll look at it. I'll find answers. I'll find peace. I'll talk to people. I'll find all kinds of ways to understand this. But I'm not just going to create story around what I don't understand, because we can create all kinds of stupid things when we overthink. So ask the universe to help you with that. Drop the energy into your throat chakra. Ask it to open up to truly be a prophet, a seer, a channeler, a tarot reader, whatever it is you came here to do. If you're here to be a scientist and invent new things, then ask the universe to help you to do that. If you're here to carry energy or bring knowledge from the ancient past that's important, ask to be that channeler. Stop fearing it. Stop thinking, oh, or spirit's going to take over my body and I'm going to be some kind of a strange alien. That's not what channeling is about. Channeling is going to be a new way. There's a spirit going to stand beside you. It's going to link with your mind, and it's just going to show and tell you everything, and then you're just going to speak it out. You don't have to have an entity come in and take over your body. But some people, they think that's what you have to do, and it's not a truth. There's always spirits working through you 24 hours a day, and you don't even know it. So they don't possess your body, and they don't turn you into some weird alien. They actually really love and protect you, and they love and protect everybody. So ask God to open up your throat chakra so you can really speak your truth and learn to speak what God is channeling through you. Don't say, oh, I don't want to hurt their feelings, so I'm not going to say that. Sometimes you need to say things exactly the way the universe needs, And it's for a reason. And somebody might get mad at you, but later on they might heal and come back and thank you. So sometimes you need to just be able to speak whatever it is, but people want to change it. And once you change it, it doesn't help people. If you're not saying what the spirits want you to say, then sometimes it just doesn't do anything. And if you're going to be a tarot reader, then you really have to learn to say what you need to when you see things, because it's important to help people. And then ask the energy to drop into your higher heart, which only knows God, which only knows truth, and it always has the answers 5 minutes before your brain realizes it. So it's really, really conscious, and it's up above. It's between your throat chakra and your heart chakra. It's in between there. It's called the higher heart. And then ask your heart chakra to be blessed with angels, guides, spirits, healers, light, teachers, avatars, gurus, with prayers, with blessings, with healings, with knowledge, whatever needs to go through you. You can walk through a store and just let this energy and knowledge beam through you to everybody in the store. It's going to change a lot of people's lives, and maybe you'll never know and never meet those people, but whatever you're doing, it's going to really be big. And people will feel your energy. Some people will love it, some people will fear it. But just know it's from God and it's not a negative thing. And some dimensions need your energy, some animals need it, even the plants and animals. The Earth Mother sometimes needs your energy, so if it's just flowing through you, you don't have to think 24 hours a day. You don't have to sit there meditating all day, trying to control or be aware of it. It's just go about living your life, trying to find happiness and do things. Drop into your solar plex. Ask to remove all filters in this lifetime. Maybe you want it to be your grandmother. Maybe you want it to be a movie star. Maybe you want it to be a rapper. Maybe you want it to be Lady Gaga. But these are all just filters. They're not you. And somewhere it's a distorted energy. Maybe you want it to be Zsa Zsa Gabor. Maybe you want it to be John Wayne or Billy Idol. So, like I say, they're distortions or filters. And they're interfering with who you really are. Maybe you saw a picture of a model on a magazine, and that energy is stuck in you. Maybe you saw Paris Hilton when you were a little girl and you thought you wanted to be her or more than her. So there's a distorted filter there. Ask for that to get cleared up and released so you can take back the real you. Find out who you really are. Allow your light, your soul, your truth to really let you become the biggest you. At the same time, cut cords with everybody. Every last human being, everything. And bless everybody to walk their own path. To really, really discover their answers, to find their teachers. Because you've done this for thousands of lifetimes with people. And some of them are addicted and they're attached to you and they don't want to let you go. And they're trying to hang on and pull you and hold you down and distort things. Ask all of it be released. Because the more you lift your energy and light, and the more you stay in that high energy, discovering and finding who you are, they will realize and want to meet you and match you and come up there. You don't have to teach them. There's something about you, there's an energy, there's something they feel off you and they want to be like that. So they're going to ask the universe. And the universe is going to start changing them and giving them all of that. Because if they really desire it, that's what they're going to create and manifest. So I have all these cords cut from past lives. Oh, I was Cleopatra. Oh, I was Mark Antony. Oh, I was Nostradamus. Let it go. That was a past life. It's over. Right now, I'm just Joe. I'm okay with being just Joe. That's all I can be in this lifetime. That's who I'm going to be remembered as. Nothing else. Nobody's going to say, oh yeah, he was Nostradamus. It's like, yeah, I'm here just to be Joe. So let these things go. Really take back all your soul pieces. Because lifetime after lifetime, you gave pieces of yourself away. If you were in Delphi and Rome and some of these places, you left part of your soul there. Because you thought you would come back and be a seer and do things again. So you left a piece of yourself there. Maybe there was a part of the world you really loved and you wanted to come back there and you left a piece of yourself. Through all these lifetimes, even in your childhood, there are places you've been and you left a piece of yourself. Sometimes you still think about it. Ask for that all back so you can become whole. Don't be a little ever ready battery running around everywhere. You need all those pieces inside yourself. You need to be full and whole. To be a manifester and a creator, you need every last piece of yourself back, your identity, and ask God to make you in His image. Not in the Buddhist image, not in the Christianity image, not in the native spiritual image, not in all these other kinds of rituals. Oh, I'm a witch. That's not an image. God knows what the soul is and all these things and how big and beautiful it is. So ask to become that. Because in the future, when you're in the fourth and fifth dimension, you'll see the beauty of who you truly are. Your angelic being, your God self, every last magical thing that you are. Ask for it and really desire and believe in it, because God will help you manifest it. But let go of the filters. Drop into your solar plex. Ask to heal the third dimension. Start absorbing fifth, fourth dimension energies. Because the Earth Mother's energy is getting higher. There's new ultraviolet lights. All kinds of things are coming into the Earth. But we have to want to absorb it. Our cells, our organs, our bones, our auric field, our chakras, our higher etheric, our higher energy and chakras. We have to allow it to come in and permeate and get bigger so we learn how to live in it. Learn how to work with that energy instead of fearing it. Oh, is it alien? Oh, is it from Satan? Oh, is it from some Beelzebub or whatever? It's like you prayed and you asked God for it, so let it come in. You need it to get you into the future. You need it to help others. You need it to do a lot of things, so stop overthinking and fearing and just start letting your body and energies absorb this. It already knows who you are. It's very, very intelligent. Drop into your base chakra and heal all fears, sexuality, whatever is stuck in the lower energies of the three chakras keeping you stuck. If you want to be a guru or whatever it is that may be a lower vibration, ask to heal that. Ask to understand how to let it go and let all the three chakras move up into the higher ones. And drop into the Earth Mother. Drop, drop, drop right into her. Ask her to take everything from your ancestors, your home, your life, your surroundings, anything that's not positive and good. And then call her up into your home to heal everything, to protect you, to show you where you're going to live in the future, to show you all the beautiful people, what your children and friends and other people are going to have, how are you going to work together, how are you going to celebrate. Let her guide and heal you. Let her be with you all the time, whether you're driving a car, shopping, you're at work. She knows everything. She's the one that takes care of everything on the planet. So ask her for that. She is the most intelligent, loving being that you could ever give permission to work with. And she's loved you for millions of years on this planet. Calling the spirits of east, south, west, and north. That's the morning, afternoon, evening, and night. And her angels and spirits and guides that watch over and help you. Ask them to be with you. Call in the mana, prana, atoms, electrons, protons, and ask these living light forces to help you because you're very wise and intelligent. Ask the Earth Mother's children to also be a part of your life. The four-leg, two-leg, wing ones, furry ones, feather ones, standing people, rock people, sky people, water people. Call in the sun, the moon, the stars. Call in all the avatars, the gurus, all the teachers and the masters, all the sacred ones, all the ones of the future, all the new purple divas, all the new earth energies to come in and support and work with you. Ask the star brothers and sisters that are part of the future to come in and assist you in whatever it is, downloads, guidance, teachings, helpings, lots of things they can help with. And give them permission to do this. And ask God to bless this to be in your cells, in your organs, in your bones, in your chakras, in your aura, in your etheric, and that blessing is just radiating out of you 24 hours a day. It's not something you got to think about. And wherever you go, you're carrying a loving, praying thought inside you that's just going to bless people. And then you got to understand your aura can go out for a mile or more. So you could be driving down a highway and 1 mile away somebody is receiving a blessing or energy from you you will never meet or see. So just allow God to do this. And this is my prayer for the world, everybody. Hey, hey. Does that prayer ever get bigger in any way?
Yeah, every time it's different.
Yeah.
And every time, like, it hits me in certain things that you say, like when you said at the throat, when you said prophet, I was like, oh! And it was just like, holy crap. And then something at the root as well, like just shifted it. And I was like, oh. And then it was like, I could feel how it was hooked also into my
solar plexus.
And I was like, holy shit, like this, whatever this is, which is my personal thing, but it has been my identity. Mm-hmm. Holy crap. So, I mean, every time I'm learning and drifting with what you're saying and seeing what I'm seeing and just trusting it.
Yeah. And for you, Cindy, you've heard me pray this for a long time. Is it big enough or does it change you each time you hear it?
It's always big enough. And definitely sometimes it's hard to follow along because it's just so big that you just have to flow with it. Many times I would try to repeat it in my head, but you move so fast. I just have to relax into it.
And one of the things, if anybody has read the book Unveiled Mysteries, there's a real simple thing that Saint Germain shares in there about sitting in the dazzling white light. Like there's some things are really, really easy. People want to meditate or they need a guided meditation and they got to go through a maze and they got to go here and go there. But sometimes it's just asking to sit in the light. And each day just do that. All you need to do is 5 minutes. And then if at night you lay down a little bit early, ask to be in the dazzling white light for 5 minutes. You will see it change you. You will see it do a lot of things. Saint Germain explains it in the Unveiled Mysteries. And it's the most simple thing. And people's minds don't want to stop. Like when we go into meditation, we never stop asking questions. We never stop doing things. And sometimes we need to ask our minds to be quiet. Like it's our mind. It will listen to us. It's our cells. They will listen to us. We have cells that from when we were children, they're angry. And we have not talked to them. We have not acknowledged them. And they're so addicted to be angry and they try to fight with us. And they have to listen to us. And you could say, no, this is going to change. My whole body, my cells, my energy, everything is going to beam happiness. And over time, these cells will change. But they will hold on to things. They do hold on to memories. If you got broken bones and other things, they remember that. They protect themselves. And they're angry and they don't trust. So sometimes we need to talk to our own bodies. We need to acknowledge our hearts, our glands, our stomach, our kidneys, our gallbladder. We got to acknowledge all these things because they're actually living, listening things. Every cell hears whatever goes on in your mind. So sometimes just ask your mind, can you just be quiet? And if you do it every day over a period of time, one time you're going to be sitting there and it's just absolutely going to be quiet. And you'll be surprised because it will listen to you. It will stop. And in meditation, because prayer is, I have a very big mouth. It's prayer. Hey, God, I need help. It's me, Joe. Today I had a really shitty day and I want to feel happy tomorrow. My back's been bothering me. I'm not too happy. I'm a little growly. I'm human. Right now I'm in my humanness and this is where I'm at in my reality. And I would like a really nice day tomorrow. I'd like to wake up without my back being sore. Can you send in some angels to work on my back? Oh, my feet have been hurting. They're tired. Can you have them look at that and doctor me through the night? My body is laying there anyways for 8 hours. So can you please allow these things to come in and do something to help me? I go to sleep. In the morning, I wake up and I just feel amazing. My back's not bothering me. And I end up having a really beautiful day. Well, the prayer was just asking God for those things. And we need to ask. In the Bible, God says, I know all my children. I know everything you need in this lifetime and every other lifetime. But sometimes I wait to hear from my children. In the natives, when you're a child, they teach you to speak to the universe, pray out loud, talk. So it's like a radio. Like whatever I'm saying in that, everybody is hearing me. Now I'm going to meditate. I'm going to go into my quietness. And I'm not going to go namaste and all these other rituals. I'm just sitting here, close my eyes. Now I start seeing things. There's colors going on. There's different things. My energy shifting this way and that way. And I'm just sitting. Is there something I need to see? Is there something I need to share? And I just watch. And then a movie starts playing. I start smelling things. Maybe I astral travel and I look at something. Oh, wow, I see this. I see that. Oh, isn't that interesting? Oh, I'm seeing my friend. What's going on with my friend? So meditating starts showing you things. You're a TV. So whatever is going on, you're feeling, seeing, and that, you're not going into nirvana and you're going into nothing. People believe meditation is that. It isn't. I sat with Tibetan lamas and they don't tell you to go into nirvana and nothing. If you sit with them, they're going to tell you what they see, what they hear, all kinds of stuff. So something is playing in your mind. There's a movie. Something is being shown to you for a reason. So allow yourself to look at that. And that's what meditation is. Praying is sending. Being a really big loudmouth. Being a radio. Being whatever. You want the universe, you want your angels, your ancestors to hear you. Hey, I'm going crazy, I'm afraid, help me. Ah. Somebody's going like, hey, he's crazy, let's go over and listen to him. What's going on? What do we need to do? After I do all of that, I sit down for a while, I say, okay, can I shut up and be quiet? No. Okay, brain, smarten up and be quiet. Sit there. I don't go, oh, because now I'm making my brain busy. Oh, I'm too busy to hear and see what I'm being shown. So allow yourself to acknowledge what you're seeing in your dreams, what you're being shown in your meditations. Write it down. Don't say I just made up my imagination. Oh, it's just fantasies I'm dreaming up and that. Really, really acknowledge and say, wow, this was shown to me. That's what psychics do. They're sitting there and staring at you and they're seeing things or hearing things or knowing things and they're trying to share and tell you what they're seeing. We all have that ability. Children do it all the time. You do it, but then you blow it off. Lots of people when they're washing dishes and they're standing at the sink and they're washing dishes, just standing there going through the motions of washing dishes, all of a sudden they see things and they just become aware of stuff. People don't realize how powerful washing dishes can be. Because some people go into a really deep meditative state every time they wash the dishes. They don't see it as a happy, beautiful thing. Some people get angry when they got to do the dishes, and I'm like, why? When I do the dishes, I stand there and I try to just see if I'm going to get shown something is going on. So I ask to bless the dishes because I thank them because they're holding my food and I get to eat off something clean. I get to put love and energy in them because they're always doing something for me. And I love washing my dishes because I put good energy into it, but it does something for me. So depending on how some people like walking labyrinths, that's where they go into meditative state. Some people walk through the forest, but not everybody sits there and says, Om. Not everybody can sit, close their eyes and actually see things. A lot of people, they need movement. They need something. If you really love riding bikes, then find a circuit that's 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers. And then when you get home and you get on your bike, before you start pedaling, you ask a question. And throughout your ride, ask this question and see if by the time you get home, if you got the answers and you solved all your problems. Because then you were in a meditative state. Because to ride that bike, you have to go in a meditative state to push those pedals, to keep going on that path, to keep and trying to get around it as fast as you can. Some people is jogging. You get to a certain path and you know you're going to run 5-10 kilometers and you go in there. It's just like a labyrinth. You're going to go around. till you do the 10 kilometers. And you ask a question and you just focus and you just run. And all of a sudden your mind opens up. Walking meditation is the most powerful ancient meditation there is. So I hope that really helps you in lots of ways.
Someone has asked, you believe in the one, and then wanted to know about your take on soulmates.
What, the creator, the light? I don't know what
No,
your...
partner, soulmate.
No, soulmate. I believe everybody on the planet is your soulmate, whether they're positive or not. I believe you've done many, many lifetimes, and so everybody has something to teach you. So in some way, they're all a soulmate, and it's just how you perceive it. I believe before you were born, you made an agreement with somebody that you were going to meet them here on this planet at a certain time, and they both agreed. So you have some soul contract with some individual on the planet. But our minds told us, oh, we need Arnold Schwarzenegger. We need this big muscular guy. So in your mind, you made up that you only have to have Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're going to break your legs and toes to have Arnold Schwarzenegger. Well, maybe it's not real.
Not just your legs, your toes too.
Well, that's what people do. They put themselves through a lot of hardships and agony because somewhere in their teenage years they made up a belief. They never ever really sat with themselves and really looked at the truth and reality. And the TV and all kinds of things have distorted what you understand. And so you made up your belief, this is what's going to make me happy. And you'll put yourself through every terrible thing. You'll even live with a human being for 60 years being unhappy just to have it. And that's where I'm like, you'll break your own legs and your own toes. And there's a lot of people that do that. And I always say, ask the universe, who is the person that's meant to be in your life? If you're going to be on this earth for another 100 years, who is that person going to be? That person has to be your best friend for the rest of your life. They have to be walking a similar path because you can't be fighting and arguing. You have to be going in some sort of direction. That person has to believe in the fourth and fifth dimension. You don't have to turn them into a guru. You don't have to give them books and teach them. They're already on that path. They're already walking. They're already standing behind you, and they're already standing with you. Whatever it is, and you're both working together. You're going forwards. I always believed one day I would come across a person that would be that person, and we would be together for however long into the future. And like I say, how me and Cindy came together was not something either of us could have dreamed up or tried to create or manifest. There was lots of different weird things, but in the end, here we are 11 years later. So asking really truthfully who that person is. One thing I always tell people, sit down and write a letter. Be truly, truly honest with the universe. Design this person. All the people you've met in your life, what did you love about them that attracted you? All those boyfriends when you were a teenager or a younger adult, what was it that brought you into their lives? What was that beautiful, special thing you were looking for? If they got one really, really big eye, then tell the universe you want somebody with the biggest eye on one side. What they call those guys with Cyclops. Like I like teasing people. Sometimes I always, like elderly ladies, they ask me sometimes about a soul partner and that, and I tell them write a letter to the universe. And I always tell them, I says, if a guy has a really lazy eye, that you just go woo every time his lazy eye just shudders in his head, and just like the biggest really, ooh, do that again. And I tell him first thing in the list is like he's got the biggest, laziest eye. So it just makes them laugh. It makes something stay in their mind. But even with a man, it's like really, really be truthful. Just because the whole world believes that, you have to have a blonde woman in your life, maybe that's not a truth. Maybe there's somewhere inside you're attracted to red-headed woman, but because every one of your friends in that believe your only way you're going to be happy is to have a blonde woman, maybe it's not a truth, and maybe you need to tell them to shove it or whatever, and write in your letter, I want a red-headed woman. Is she tall? Is she fat? Does she have big shoulders? What? Like, write it out and be really, really honest and clear. I always use this, how people say, I want a car. And you tell the universe, like when we do our native ceremonies and our ceremonies, they be really clear with your prayers. And I know people always want a car. And some people, they want a really, really beautiful brand new Porsche right out of the factory. And so 2022 Porsche, leather seats, fully loaded, boombox, everything. So when you ride down the street, everybody turns and looks at your Porsche and you're like, ooh, just give yourself a pat. You got the most beautiful car. But then you're praying and you say, hey, God, I want a car. A couple of weeks later, you end up with a whole rust bucket. Something that's going to cost you thousands of dollars to keep running and everything. And you got your car. The universe gave you your car. But you did not say you wanted that beautiful Porsche, the leather seats, the boombox, brand new right out of the factory. You just said a car. That's the same thing as, I want my spiritual partner. I want my twin soul. When people say twin soul, I see a plane. You know, in the 1910s when they made those canvas planes? Soon as somebody says my twin flame, I'm like, oh yeah, there's the burning plane. And they're both sitting in the cockpit and they're both smiling, and all of a sudden the wings light up on fire. And they're like, ooh. And they're both trying to fly the plane. They're pretending to be happy. 6 months later, it hit the ground, explodes. They're fighting and they're arguing and hating one another. And they're not twin flames anymore. They're a crashed plane. So when you ask the universe, be really, really clear. Really go deep into your heart. If it takes you 3 months to write this, take 3 months. Ask yourself, read it over. Be really, really sure it's exactly what you want. Then on a full moon or somewhere, take it somewhere, smudge it, pray out loud, read it. Say, hey God, this is what I'm asking for, and read the whole thing. And be really, really honest. And after you read it, burn it. Let it go. And then see what the universe will bring. Most people that I know have done that. They have got exactly what they want, and they're very, very happy. And anybody that I talk to that has done this, they received what they have, and they just can't believe like they got what they literally asked for. The universe is very literal that way. That's why in prayers, like, we try to be too fast. An old elder told me, he says, think about your prayers. He says, if you really, really want something, think about it. He says, write it down. Look at it. Maybe take a week, maybe take a month before you really sit down and pray it. Because once you send it to the universe, you're going to get a blessing. But if you're not clear about your prayer, you're going to receive something. Because the universe is going to give you something. It's always giving you things. But do you remember what you prayed 2 days ago? Do you remember what you prayed 3 days ago at lunchtime? Most people don't remember what they prayed 5 hours ago. They're so busy wanting. I want this, I want that, and all these other things, and they're constantly. And the universe is constantly trying to give them things. But there's no clarity, there's no awareness to what they're actually doing. So really, really think deep on these things. Because if you want somebody in your life permanently, and that person might be there for 100 years, you want to have your best friend. You want somebody that understands you, that's living the same kind of things. It's not somebody you gotta, make them wear a headband and diaper pants and malas and stuff like that. They already believe in God. They already can sit and talk things. They already want to go to meditations. They all want to do all these things. And they're not going to sit there all day in yoga going, oh. They're actually going to be living life, and they're going to be sporting. They're going to want to go out. If you like going outdoors, they're going to want to go outdoors. You like going for bike rides, you're going to want to go for a bike ride. But you're both going to live very happy. If you don't have your best friend, he's going to want to be at the North Pole, you're going to be at the South Pole, and you're never going to come together. You're always going to fight. And you're going to try to make him happy, and then he's going to piss you off, and you're going to get real mad and go to the South Pole. And then he's going to go, oh, I better go over there and I better try to make her happy. And then you'll come over here and you meet in the center, and then he'll get pissed off, go to the North Pole. Then you go and try to make him happy. And you're constantly going back and forth, North Pole, South Pole, and eventually you're just pissed off and you're never happy. And you end up hating one another. So why not start off a relationship with your best friend and grow 100 years and look back on it and go, wow, I'm really glad I made this choice. Here I am 100 years later, and I'm so happy for everything I have done.
Yeah, Raven Chick at 12, yeah. Cindy, she's talking about how she wrote a letter when she was 15. He showed up when he's 16, and that they had that relationship, and then they separated, and then they came back again later on, and it was everything that she had written in the letter, and she'd forgotten that she'd written the letter until she was 29 years old.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that just goes to show how beautiful the universe is. And sometimes they will bring something into your life, and maybe it'll go away. And years later you'll discover, and then it'll come back, and then it'll really, because maybe he needed to heal and learn and do some things. Maybe there was something he still hadn't finished in his humanness. Because if you're not finished in your 3 lower chakras, you're not going to have that beautiful relationship. Because if it's not finished, somewhere you're going to do something destructive. And the universe won't give you a really beautiful, loving soul until you're done with that. So these are things you need to heal and look at. And if you have fantasies about being 14 or 17 or dancing in boogie bars, no?
Boogie bars forever now. Locked in.
So you'll attract that. And you haven't finished it because that's where your mind is. So do you really, really want somebody in your life for 100 years? You're never going to have another guy with you. You're never going to have another girl with you. So is this something truly you fully are ready to accept and allow in? Or there's still a party that needs to play and do some things yet? Because when you have this person, you will never want to hurt them.
I like what Pam Rader shared about in a relationship, it's 100% from you and 100% from the partner. It's not 50-50. You give 100% of yourself to your relationship and you expect the same in return. I really like that.
Yeah, that's everything. Because when you're living together, it's not the wife's responsibility to cook or do the dishes or clean the laundry or mop the floor. You live there, you're responsible too. Are you going to work? Are you going to do this? What part of this relationship do you want to be responsible for? Because they're going to be putting something in. But if they're just there to take, then it's not going to last. It's not going to go very far. And you can't buy somebody else's happiness. And when you fall in love with them, why did you fall in love with them? Because after 6 months, you can't start changing them. You can't start going, oh, you got this problem, you got that problem. Because you fell in love with them. There's something beautiful there. Now why are you bashing them? Why are you changing them? Why are you making them do this and that? I was in a relationship when I was around 30, and this girl tried to make me into a Mexican bandito.
Mexican bandito.
And I was like, what the hell? I mean, I'm a native, and she got me a checkered jacket. She bought one of those things and put a bandana, and she greased my hair back, and she got me sunglasses. And she tried to make me walk around and be like a gangster and wear my pants that are hanging down to my knees. I never wore my pants like that, and I never will. But I thought, well, I'll try for 2 days, and I'm like, I can't do this. This is stupid. It's not me. So if you're going to love somebody, don't start thinking you're going to repair and fix them 6 months into the relationship. And don't try to buy their happiness, because somewhere they're going to turn on you and you're going to end up fighting. Cindy?
Can you speak to spirit guides? There's so much different information out there, like how to connect with them and who are they or what are they? What could you share with everyone here tonight? And there's 222 people on here right now.
Wow. Thank you all. I'm glad you're all here participating and being a part of our lives, because somehow you're impacting us, we're impacting you. Spirit guides. Don't have agendas. Everybody has agendas. Everybody reads books. Everybody reads stuff. Everybody goes to places. Ooh, this person does this. Ooh, this person. I want to be that. I want to be this. If you got an agenda, then, like I say, it's like a brick wall between you and your ancestors. You got to accept your ancestors. Because some of them are actually your guardian angels. Some of these beings that are around you is from maybe 1,000 lifetimes ago. When you were born, you gave them permission to come in and work with you. So if there's something that's difficult, then maybe whatever your agenda, there's a wall between you and that. Maybe you're smelling tobacco all the time and you're not paying attention to it. Maybe you're smelling apple pie and you're not paying attention to it. You're like, how come they never communicate with me? But geez, I smell apple pie every day. Grandma's sitting there sticking pies in my face and I can't even acknowledge her. There's lots of different things. Do you see orbs? You see white lights, blue lights, green lights, yellow lights. What do you see? Are you really, really paying attention? Don't sit there and go, come on, talk to me. Got my microphone. Come on, who's
Only
there?
in this exact way.
The spirit world is energy vibration, color and sound, and it all comes into your brain here. These ears are for 3D, so they work that way. And people will focus on their ears. You don't. The sound frequency, there's a chamber somewhere up here in your brain that fine tunes. It's like a TV. When you turn on the right channel, then you see the picture. It's like long ago when they had those old black and white TVs and you had to have those antennas and you had those antennas outside and you had to dial it in until the picture came out on your TV. Same thing in the spirit world. When you have the knowledge and when you have no more agendas and when you can tell your brain to shut up and just watch and listen, you'll hear and see everything. But if you're not accepting what they're showing you when your eyes are closed and what you're hearing, seeing, and smelling, then you're never ever going to get it. And the more you pay attention, the more it's going to get louder, the more things are going to go on. And most people are already getting messages and things from the spirit world. Because you say, oh yeah, I already knew that. You go over to your friends and you're sitting there and you're drinking tea and coffee and somebody comes in and does something you already knew. I knew they were going to say that, and I knew then this and that was going to happen. How did you already know that? Somehow maybe a spirit showed you that, or somewhere you tapped into something and you saw something because maybe you have a psychic gift. Maybe you astral traveled into the future and you saw that already. So you have to acknowledge these things. You got to stop blowing them off. And you can't have agendas to be like this person, that person, and all that others. You came here to be you, not anybody else. But you have to pay attention. And I had to learn that. My granddad would make me do it over and over and over until I got it right. And I was a little kid, and sometimes it was very, very confusing. I didn't understand what he was trying to teach or tell me. But I would do it and do it and do it. And then finally when I got it right, I would pay attention and remember, and I would try to do it over and over and over. So if he asked me, I was able to do it. And it's really important because we feel, sense, feel, and smell and everything else. And if you're paying attention, you're going to really be surprised about how much you're aware of. A lot of us are empaths and we're afraid to feel. So we shut it all off. You need to trust and open it all up.
Someone was asking what brings you a sense of peace.
When I see people's lives change, when I sit with people and we share spiritual knowledge and they share stuff they're aware of, when I sit with little children and they talk about the future and the things they see and know that verifies stuff that I understand. Some people tell me things that I was shown when I was a little child that sometimes verifies where I am on the timeline. When I see people waking up more and more and more, coming together, and they're all willing to listen, learn, and grow, because that's saying the energy is lifting. I've been doing this for years and years and years on my own. I didn't have groups of people. I went and paid for pranic healing. And when I went there, nobody was my friends. And I was trying to make friends there. I thought I'd get certified and be a pranic healer. And the person that ran pranic healing that lived in Victoria came to Edmonton, and she came to the place we're at because she had to deal with something. She didn't know who I was. She just walked in. She sat by the person, and there was a big book on pranic healing beside her. And she just looked at me. She says, "You, what are you doing here?" And I'm like, "What?" She said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "I came here to learn pranic healing. I'm taking the courses." And she pointed at the book and she says, "You can do everything in this book. Why are you here?" I said, "To get certified." And she says, "You might pay us $10,000, $15,000 taking courses and that." She says, "After that, you got to stand in front of a board. And there's going to be all these people there. And they're going to ask you questions. And if one of them on that board does not like you or accept you, you cannot practice pranic healing and we will not certify you." And I thought, why would I waste $10,000, $15,000 doing this if somebody there just decides not to like me and I can't get certified to do this? And she says, "This book here, everything in it you already know. So why are you here?" So I went there a few more times, and then I realized it was a waste of my time and went on with life. And I want to get it certified. I went many, many places. Somebody can say, "Oh yeah, this is what you are here. I'll certify you," so you can put it up and everybody can come to you because I say you're certified. Nobody can certify you as spiritual, as psychic, whether you hear angels, whether you see things, whether you're a tarot reader. Nobody can do that. It's inside you. And you got to build confidence. You got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in your angels, your ancestors. You got to believe in all kinds of things. And you got to allow them to work through you because they are your guides. They are your protectors. They have your answers. You have to read, you have to get knowledge, and you have to be accepting of changing and shifting and learning and growing. You have to work with these masters. If Saint Germain comes to work with you and he tries to teach you things and you're not listening, he's going to leave. He's not going to come back and waste his time. And you can beg him all you want. He's not going to bother. There are many other people out there that want to learn and grow. And he's not going to wait on you. It's like, I came, I tried what I can. You don't want to accept and do that? Well, that's your loss. Maybe eventually some other teacher will come along from the universe and say, "Okay, I'll give you a chance." But if you're not willing to grow and listen and work with them and really, really go deep into your chakras and saying, "Well, what do I need to do?" Because once they get you up past your solar plex into your heart chakra, it's just going to keep climbing. And once it goes there, they're going to give you things and you're going to be responsible. They're going to ask you to pray. They're going to ask you to do things. They're not going to say, "Are you afraid or not?" They're going to say, "Do this." They're going to trust you already got to that point and they've already given you all the information and you're not scared and you can work with them. If you're meant to manifest or if you're meant to be a teacher or a guide or whatever, you're just going to step into it. You're not going to be worried about, "Oh, it's woo-woo. Oh, they're going to lock me up in the psych ward." You're not going to worry. The universe is going to protect you. They're going to protect you. All of them. No matter what you're going to be in the future. So you got to deal with your internal stuff, not them. And the more you trust and believe in it, it's going to get really loud. And if you got some gift shut off because you were scared as a child, ask them to lift all the filters out and remove the fear and activate these abilities that you shut off because you didn't understand. Because God gives back everything. If you didn't understand something, He's going to return it to you. But then it's your responsibility.
Can a person inherit spiritual gifts from family?
Yeah. There's a lot of ancestors there who are very spiritual. The further you go down your bloodline, and as you go down your bloodline, it branches out more and more and more and more. And there's a lot of people in your family that don't want these gifts, don't want these abilities. And these spirits want to give it to somebody. So if you're open and receptive, they're going to test you. They're going to come in and see, well, if I give you this, they're going to see how you're going to use it. If you're going to play games, or you're going to use it mischievously, or you're going to do something really big and beautiful. And if you're not willing to do something beautiful, they'll shut it off and take it away, and they'll go somewhere else and give it to somebody else. It's like I said, these people up on the reserve here, they don't want to share their knowledge with the world. They don't want to help people. They don't want to tell people about medicine or ceremonies and that. All I got to do is pray for all those spirits that are on that reserve, because these people aren't doing what they're supposed to. I can start calling those spirits. They'll give me all the knowledge. They'll give me all the wisdom, because they know I will take that and use it to help the world, and I'll give it to anybody that's meant to have it. And these natives on the reserve, they try to argue with these spirits. These spirits will do all kinds of things, because those spirits are the ones that want to share this knowledge. They don't care what these natives think. Some of them won't make it into the future because they're not honoring their ancestors, and their ancestors are pissed off. These people believe they're powerful. They're not powerful. So it's like I say, go inside and really ask yourself some deep questions. What do you really want for the future? If the universe gives you a gift, even one gift, that's all you need. You don't need 10,000. You don't need a big list of saying, oh, I'm a Reiki master, I'm a pranic healer, I'm this, I'm that, I'm all these things. I know some people that got a list with 100 things on it. I'm like, why? I mean, God's going to give you something, and whatever it is, it's going to transform and heal people. Some people, all they got to do is just hold their hand on somebody's shoulder, and they just sit there and let God's energy come through, and they lift their hand off, and they change that person and heal them, and they didn't do anything. They just let God work through them. And they walk away. They never tell a person what they did or why they did it or anything. So when you're asking for gifts and abilities, ask yourself, because when you have it, you can't think of it as a burden. Because once it comes to you, it's your gift and you're responsible. So what are you going to do with it? I have been given a lot of things, and they angered me. They frustrated me. But at the time, I didn't fully understand it all. I was young. And when you're young, it's like you look at the world differently. As you get older and older and older, you start realizing differently. And now I respect everything my granddad taught me, these medicine people and elders and all kinds of others. I sat with lamas that told me all kinds of stuff, and I appreciate it all. And I'm thankful, because all these things somewhere I'm going to share with people. I'm going to do something with all of this when the time is right. And I've had a lot of visions. I've had a lot of different experiences with the universe, and I really, really thank them. Because I know whatever that was all about, it's going to change the world, and it's going to be given out to everyone when the time is right.
How would a person start to find out what their gifts are, what they actually are?
One way is ask to see in your dreams. Another way, if you believe you're going to be a tarot reader, buy a deck of tarot cards. Or you go to your friend who has tarot cards, shuffle them and say, well, I'm going to just try, I'm going to do a reading, and let's write it down and do it for your friend. Do it for a couple of friends. And start doing things to start seeing if what you're doing is actually helping people. If you're meant to channel, then start asking the universe to speak through you. If you're meant to be a healer, find the modality you're supposed to work in. Most people are they just take their hands, and they're just through their hands, everything happen. So I tell people, read Barbara Brennan's books. There's 3 books there, it teaches you all about it. Some people need to open the door by taking Reiki. Once they open that door, then talk to the Creator. Creator's going to bring down everything. Maybe He already brought all your gifts, but you rejected them. Maybe at the time you were afraid of them. Maybe they scared you. Maybe you asked God to take them away because you didn't think you were deserving or good enough or holy enough or sacred enough. Or you didn't think you could be Jesus or Buddha or something. So you told God to get rid of it. Maybe somebody you were at a ceremony said it was evil and wrong, so you told God to erase and destroy it because it was evil. Maybe you need to call it all back. But if you're going to be something, you got to start practicing. You can't just sit at home. You have to say, okay, you're my friend. I want to try and do this. Are you willing to try it with me? If you can do energy work, find a place where you can go an hour a day, 2 hours a day. Start with, oh, give me a donation for $40 for a half an hour's energy work. And then if the person really received a lot of good, they're going to come back and they're going to tell their friends, and their friends are going to come to you. And people are going to find out about you, and the more confident you are, because it should be about $1 an hour. And it's now going up past that because $1 an hour doesn't really pay for all that much anymore. So it's about $1.50, $2 an hour. So a lot of people, they make about $120 an hour doing energy work. So that's about the going rate. And if you don't think you're good enough, then you can't charge that. But if you're really that good, maybe you're meant to charge more. But you also got to remember, people are out there and they're seeking answers, and some people can afford and some can't. I do a lot of things for free. I share a lot of knowledge, whereas other people would charge a lot of money. People come to me and say, hey, Joe, what do you think about this? What do you see? What is this? And I just tell them things. I don't say you need to pay me for it. I just give them whatever it is, and I hope it changes their lives. And I believe somewhere the universe is going to reward me for doing right. And I've done it all my life. So these are things you need to really, really think inside. And you're going to discover what is really yours. You can ask your friends. Ask them, have I ever done anything that's helped you? Is there something that went on that somehow? Maybe you are a channeler and you're really not aware of it. And people come to you and they ask you strange things and you just tell them stuff. But you're actually channeling, healing them, giving them answers. And they come to you because they trust you somehow. So take the time to really, really sit down and figure it out. And if you want to do energy work, figure out what kind it is. Because there's so many kinds of modalities out there. And I love seeing a person with just one gift. I've seen people with just one gift do so many magical things. And just as simple as little gift. But when you do that, God gets very happy and He will give you more. Because every time you're using your gifts more and more and more to bless and change people's lives and bring more light into the world, somewhere that God's going to say, I need to give you this because you're going to do these many more things. So start with one thing and see where it goes. Sit in meditations. Sit with the strangers in meditations and start learning, like our talking meditation, where everybody speaks on what they're receiving, getting, and sharing knowledge. And people start realizing they have all these abilities and all these different things. They start discovering things. So instead of all of this stuff, say, well, is there something out here I can go to where I can sit with people? I can listen to them. I can share what I have. And I can start realizing bigger things. I can talk to people and stop worrying about woo-woo or psychic words. Because that limits and it stops you from really being whatever your gift is. What is the biggest truth about you?
How do we trust in ourselves or trust in our gifts?
The only way to understand the universe is trust yourself. You can't trust anything out there, and you cannot prove anything. And I don't like when people try to prove, especially when you're young. You don't have enough knowledge. Even at 61, I don't have that much knowledge. And all I know is I really, really trust myself. When things come through me and I see and know things, I share it. I don't doubt it. And you have to believe in yourself and trust in yourself, because that really makes you more and more of what you are, because you have to believe and desire it. And in doing that, if you're trusting yourself, then you're really trusting the Creator. You're really trusting your angels. You're really trusting the universe. Whatever you say, it's going to come true. You don't have to prove it. Everybody thinks if you're a psychic or energy worker or tarot reader or crystal ball reader, you have to prove it. There's nothing in any of it you can prove. When I do prayers and somebody heals, all I know is they're going to heal. I cannot explain to them how or why, and I see it and I know the changes and I know everything and things happen, and I know the universe does it, but I cannot tell you how. When I see something 6 months to a year ahead and I tell Cindy, and she looks at me and 6 months and a year later it comes through, I just tell her that's all I saw. I don't know why or how, but I saw it. And I don't try to prove it. And if I'm wrong, that just proves I'm human. Doesn't mean I'm a liar, does not mean I'm deceptive, doesn't mean I'm misleading people. Because when you're channeling, when you're a psychic, when you're a crystal ball reader, when you're a healer, a person can do anything to alter and change what is there. So you might tell them that they're going to be a certain thing, but tomorrow they make up their mind, they're going to change every last thing in their life and become something different. And everything you told them will not come true because now they're going a whole different path. So lots of things can change. Does not mean a psychic is a liar or not good or anything. Because maybe you're doing things that are altering and changing things. Maybe you're waking up and exploring really big different things, and that path doesn't exist anymore. Doesn't mean they lied or deceived you. And you cannot prove it. And you have no right judging that person because that person was authentic in that moment doing what they can. When I do things, I just know things are going to happen. And a lot of people ask me later, how did I do that? I'm like, I didn't. They did it. I'm just a conduit. When this thing, my mouth that opens, it goes, whatever comes out of me, I'm just like, I'm okay with that. And people will come back later and say, oh, you know, Joe, when you said this and you said that, and I'm like, yeah, I remember I said that. And well, it all came true. I'm like, yeah, thank them. Thank your angels. Because your angel showed me that about your future. So I gave you the message. And now they helped you to manifest it. So glory be, hallelujah, yay. I don't have to prove it. I'm not trying to offend anybody. I do these little things because sometimes they really stay in your mind. And it's not that I'm trying to talk down to anybody. My granddad used to do all kinds of things. People, elders, all kinds of people. And it really stayed in my mind. One time this old medicine man, when I was in my 30s and I was in that transition, I didn't know if I wanted to quit drinking or sober up or do this or do that. I was around 30. And I was in one of those, childish ways, and I wanted pity. And I knew this old medicine man was really gifted and connected to the universe, and he can light his pipe and pray in that, and things could just change in my life. And I thought, well, I'll go to him and I'll see if he can have pity on me and just light his pipe and da-da-da.
You can cry together.
Yeah. So I went there and he started telling me all kinds of stuff. And I'm like trying to make him feel sorry for me, and he's just looking at me and he's giggling and laughing, and I'm getting pissed off. And he's telling me, oh, this is going to happen and that's going to happen. And in about 3 or 4 years, you're going to understand. But when you leave here, you're going to get really mad and you're going to curse me and you're going to call me names and every other thing. And he says, I give you permission to do that. And I'm like, what? And when I walked out his door, I started swearing exactly what he told me. And for about 3, 4 years, I was angry. And then about the 4th year, everything he told me came true. And my life changed exactly like he told me. But he knew I had to go through all these things because I was in my humanness. I hadn't healed. I hadn't learned that. I hadn't figured that out. And I hadn't decided a lot of things. And he was showing everything and he told me it all. So after that, I phoned him up. I says, can I come over for a tea? He says, sure. So I bought some tobacco and I went over. And I says, you know, when you told me all of this, I came here because I wanted a pity. He's like, I know that. And he says, and when you left here, you cursed me just like I told you. And I says, yeah, for 4 years, I was so mad. I was so pissed off. And then everything you told me all made sense and things healed and changed. So I'm here to thank you. And I'm sorry and I apologize. He says, you don't have to. I says, yeah, but at the time. And he says, none of it means anything. Because now you're here, you're healed, you're changed, you learn. I've done that with people. I've told people things and they've gotten mad at me and every kind of thing, and I don't care. A few years later, they come back to me and they're like, hey, can you tell me more? It's like, ooh, tell me my future. And, oh, all of this changed. Oh, buddy, this and that. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm glad you're here. You changed, you healed, you figured it out. Now find those next things, those new things, those doors, and step through them. Honor yourself. Or sit in a corner in a big, stinky, dirty diaper. And one day when you finally decide to grow up, you're going to go, oh my God, you're going to see yourself sitting in that corner. You're going to look like a garbage dump and there's going to be flies and everything buzzing around you. And you're going to go, only I could take this pissy, shitty diaper off, throw it away. That's what I had to do. And I literally saw myself in a corner, being irresponsible, waiting for somebody to take the diaper off me and clean me up. And I'm like, I have to do that. And I made that decision to grow up and be responsible. And I started reading, studying, and doing all kinds of stuff. And I'm here today, thankful for being that. And I like sharing that story because I really saw myself, and I was quite embarrassed when I really, in my mind showed me. I was like, whoa, why do I want pity from somebody? Why do I want somebody to feel sorry for me? When I can change it all, when I can be responsible, when I can create happiness, I can manifest and do all kinds of things. So you grow up somewhere inside and you realize, and everybody is at a different stage. Everybody is perfectly where they're meant to. There's no right, there's no wrong. And one thing truly for every human being, look at your past for your strengths. Why did you go through everything? Don't look at it and say it was evil and wrong. Because before you were born, you agreed with God, you agreed with every human being to have those experiences. Some of them are past life contracts. Some of them you brought in to understand and learn. So you're still alive. So look at it. What is the strength in it? What can you use it? How can you share this that's going to empower somebody else so they can realize not to be ashamed of their past because, ooh, I was 14 years old and my hormone brain said sex, 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 and everything was sex. And I went berserk. Everybody does it. It's a human thing. There's no shame. But it's like somewhere inside, you're going to look inside and you're going to ask yourself, do I still want to do this? Or now, do I want something different? And you're going to open that door and you're going to step through it and things are going to change. If you really want a partner for another 200 years and you want God to bring you that beautiful friend you're going to grow old with and you're going to be spiritual, grow, heal. You're going to step into the fourth, fifth dimension. You might even live to be 1,000 years old. But when God brings it to you, you're going to be finished with everything. You're not going to fantasize about being 15 anymore, being in boogie bars or anything like that. You're going to be thankful you did it all. Now you want something permanent and good. I feel there's a lot of people here that are going to really change. You're right on that place where the door is opening and you're really realizing there's bigger things inside, but it's deeper. It's not just surface. And right now, this new age stuff, it's all surface. If you really want to understand stuff, study the old age, the tried and true, the numerology, the real Chaldean numerology, astrology. Look into some of these ancient practices and really, really go deep in them. Don't just sing Om Mani Padme Hum. Don't just do some of these Sanskrit things in yoga that people. I seen this woman the other day on Instagram, and she was playing this instrument and she was singing Shakti or one of those songs. And I'm like, whatever she was doing, I don't know where she was, but it was like somebody was sending broken glass through me. I was like, ooh, ooh. And I'm like, it's supposed to be enlightening. These gods are supposed to be coming in. They should be raining light and love. But none of that was coming through. And I'm like, where's this person? Why is she doing this? So I question a lot of things and I watch, but she's right on her path. And so, like I say, there's something way deeper in it all. There's something deep inside yourself that already knows who you're going to be in the future. When you were born, you brought in some kind of light, something that's got you on this path. And let go of all these labels of being a witch, being a shaman, being a warlock, being a guru, being a yogi, being a preacher, being an avatar, all these things, let them go. Let God transform you into the most beautiful being He can create. Because somewhere inside there's something beautiful. Yeah, I have a business. You can look it up. It's Fox Dreamer. I use the name Fox Dreamer because when I was around 30, there was this elder and he wanted to give me a name, and he went in and out of the sweat lodges, and eventually after a year the universe told him to call me Shoni Hombley, and it translates to Fox Dreamer. And the universe showed him everything why he had to give me this name. And so when we created the business, we didn't know what to name it, so I just gave it the name Fox Dreamer. So in the sun dances and some ceremonies, when I'm doing the native ceremonies, I say it's me, Shoni Hombley, Fox Dreamer. And so on my business in the wall, it'll say that I do energy clearings, which is cutting cords and trying to bring in more stuff from your angels and open up your front chakras, bring more of your future, releasing things in your back chakras from the past. And there's half an hour, there's 20 minutes, there's 1 hour cleansings. I like helping people in whatever way, and I just, whatever needs to channel. Everybody is different, and wherever you're at, I can only share what your angels bring through. I can only do what they want because they know what your path is. And they know where you are. And some people, they want everything right now, and you can't handle it. You can't understand how big it is, and you need to grow into it. You got to expand your mind with so much knowledge in that you're not afraid, you're not confused when they lift you into these higher places that you work in. So in the natives, we always say in a kind and gentle way. And lots of people, they want all their knowledge, they want everything like right now. And you have to understand with your gifts and abilities, you will receive everything in the right time. When you get in the future, you will have everything. So allow the universe to bring it to you in a way that's really, really beneficial.
I was laughing really hard about people getting mad at you because I've gotten mad at you a couple times.
And I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I really am.
It was about, you were like, oh, I think one day you're going to kick this guy out the door and blah, 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 and carry on with your life. And I was like, no, I love him. I would never. And then 2 years later, kicking him out the door.
Exactly. And I kept telling you that I can't tell you anything different. This is what I see. And they're not showing me anything. And you asked me 3 or 4 times. And each time I was truthful for you. And I knew you got angry. And I'm like, when you get there, you're going to realize, like that medicine man after 4 years. He knew I was going to come back, and he knew I'd heal and understand everything. But I had to go through that anger and everything. And I had to go. And there's nothing he could have stopped and said that would have changed that. So he just allowed me to walk that path. And then 4 years later, I went back and I thanked him. I apologized, and he says, there's nothing to apologize. I never asked anybody to apologize for acting because they're in it. They don't understand. And then once they get through it, they look back and they're going, oh, wow. And I'm like, that's just something you need to go through. That's part of that humanness. And it's not a right or wrong. But the more you see and understand and work with the universe, the more easier everything expands. And then you start seeing these things, and then you can work with them. I always say, ask to see your own future. It's yours. Why not see it? It's something that's very beautiful, and it's something the universe wants all of us to do. Because we're going to live in fourth and fifth dimension. We're going to live in the perfect now, and we're always going to be manifesting. So we're always going to be conscious and aware of everything. There's lots and lots of new things that are going to go on. We're going to revive things from Atlantean times. We're going to revive things from Lemurian times. We're going to revive things from Mu times. We're going to revive things from even more ancient past. There's lots and lots of things hidden. They took things out of yoga over the last 100 years because they knew people were going to go crazy and use it wrong and harm and destroy. So they hid things. Same with acupuncture. There's lots of things the universe took out of it because if they left it in, people would be just destroying using it wrong. Yes?
Jess Maria Astrology is wondering what your thoughts are on astrology.
Astrology is a very, very amazing, beautiful science. It's very old, it's very true, it's very accurate, but it's so big because you can go in so many directions. I mean, nowadays they're seeing past lives. They're starting to really understand how to see past lives from astrology and how to work with it.
Shoot, sorry.
No problem. And how to work with it because
What?
yeah.
Oh my god. So sorry, everyone.
No, it's cool.
What? It's literally like changed.
Yeah, it's just there.
There we go.
It went all kinds of colors. Now it's back again. So yeah, astrology, people need to understand astrology. They think astrology is their sun sign. Everybody is like, oh yeah, I was born on June 5th, so I'm Gemini. I'm like, but there's more to it. So when you're born, the sun is somewhere. So whether you're born at 12 o'clock at night, 4 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, somewhere the sun is. And when you do an astrology chart, there's a circle. In the center is the Earth. And the planets are all circling around the center, whereas the Earth and the chart goes out to 12 pies. And you see where the planets are. So your sun signs here, you're a Gemini, but then you have an ascendant, which might be Scorpio. Then you might have your moon, which might be Cancer. So then you're Gemini, Scorpio, Cancer. So
yeah, if anyone knows their astrology, if you guys want to post it in the comments.
Yeah. So when you do astrology, you need to know exactly when you were born. Because in the sky, you're imprinted by the stars. There's something that you chose to be born at that very second, and wherever the stars and the planets are, it imprinted something, and it's a story. So when an astrologer does a chart, he's going to want you your birth chart. He's going to bring that up, and then he's going to put all the stars are where they are today, and then he's going to be able to read it and give you all kinds of answers. There's many things in the chart. Me and Cindy, over 11 years, I've been taking her to astrologers, and we've been looking at stuff and that. And we have learned lots and lots of stuff. I was into it way before I had met her, and I studied and learned a lot of stuff. But astrology, even in the Bible, they talk about it. The three magi used astrology to discover, because they knew there was going to be an alignment in the sky. And if you watch the Nativity movie, they start with the three magi in the beginning, and they're looking into what they call the moon pool. And there's this big round circle, and there's a building, and it's open on top. And there's this water, and they're staring at it, and it's a reflection, and they're staring at all the stars, and they start seeing this alignment. And so they look through all these astrology charts, and it's heralding in the birth of Joshua ben Joseph. And it gives a date and a place. So they end up going from where they are. They go around this desert, and they get to Jerusalem or Nazareth or wherever he was born. And they get there, and he is born. They get there in time, and they witness his birth. And it was astrology that gave them that answer. But it was known thousands of years before that this alignment would come, and it would be something really big. It's like how the Mayans saw 3,000 years into the future to where they said 2012, but I think it was 2020 or 2022 or something. There's something out of alignment. But they knew when the Milky Way came over, because when they looked 3,000 years in the past, if you looked at the Milky Way in the past, it looked like a fox. And they said when the fox came over and was right above us, all our dreams and everything would manifest, and then we would step in the new. And they were looking into the future, and they saw the children at the golden color like corn. So they call them the children of the corn. At the times the Chinese people were looking into the future, thousands of years into the future, and they saw the crystal children because they're all kinds of colors. Other tribes on the planet looked into the future and saw the rainbow warriors. The natives have seen the rainbow warriors. So we're all the different colors like the rainbows. So all these things are very, very powerful, very ancient, and they're there. They're in astrology. They're recorded. And they're very true. It's just like numerology. In the Bible, it talks about numbers. And numerology is very powerful. If you can find Chaldean, really ancient numerology, it's going to give you lots of answers because it's an ancient science they use, and they proved it over thousands and thousands of years. And they made it very, very accurate. So, yeah, astrology I love. On our site, there's 2 astrologers. There's Ola in Norway, and there's Ian in the Canary Islands. And they're both amazing astrologers. I really, really like Astrolata. You can find her on YouTube. She has a site. She has many, many astrologers on her site that you can have do readings. They can rectify your chart to find your birth time. They can give you many kinds of answers, but you really need your birth time for an accurate reading. There's another guy I like who's Victor. He's on Astrolata's site. He has his own YouTube site. And you can go to YouTube and you can find free astrology to learn about your sun sign, your ascendant, your moon. And then you can look at your chart and see where Chiron is, or Neptune, or Uranus, or wherever they are and how they're affecting your life. Yes?
Someone's wondering about the meaning of the number 8.
Number 8 is creation folded in half. So it's continuum. And when you take a circle and you fold it, it loops. So it's always continuously going like this. So they call it infinity. And for me, I was born on the 8th of June. So 8 impacts me really big. And I see an 8 as a little circle here and a big circle down here. So when I'm at the top of the circle, if I can look down to here, I can see what a problem is, then I ride down to the bottom. If I can discover the answer here, by the time I get here, I can heal and change that, then I go back up to the top. And it's like a roller coaster ride. It's always going like this. It's infinite. Continue.
Please tell her anything about a hand drum beating on its own.
Whenever drums and stuff are playing or being played, then the universe is your ancestors, or the spirits want to give you a song, or they're trying to get you to actually take out your drum and start playing it. And they will give you songs in your dreams, or when you're sitting there playing it, you will hear all kinds of things. They will guide you.
She's saying that she's clarifying it's a hand drum and it's hanging in her home.
Yeah.
So it's just beating on its own.
Yeah. And it's the spirits making that happen. So you need to take it down and you need to start playing it. And the spirits are going to come in and they're going to, maybe there's some really, really ancient songs they want to bring through that's important for ceremonies. But for some reason, they're trying to get you to take it down and start using it. Give them permission to come in and give you the songs and that. There's something really big in it for you, and it's good. I like watching things. Nature, I always find, it always does something. I'll learn something. And I was weeding and pulling things, and I was looking at the different plants, because I always ask them, if I plant you, if you want to grow, then grow. I'm not going to force you, and I'll do everything to try to nurture you and take care of you and that, but you have to decide. And if you want to do this or not, it's your choice. So I try to talk to the plants, and I'll put my hand on them and ask God to bless them down to their roots and everything like that. And I try to thank them, because whatever we're going to harvest, it's going to nourish our bodies and give us some health. So
How do you feel like you learn the best? Because you've been learning for a long time.
always in my challenges, always in the hardships is sometimes the biggest lessons I have received. And the biggest thing I learn in all of those challenges is how to see the good or the joy in it. Even sometimes it's really heavy and everything. It's like, how can I just lift that energy and not really allow it to impact people, or use it in a way that's teaching and beneficial for everybody around? So it doesn't just have to be heavy and depressing or scary. So a lot of times is in the challenges is where I learn the most, especially in my younger years. For the first 21, 22 years of my life was really, really hard. And I learned so many things because it pushed me so deep inside myself. And I had to really rely on the Creator, on my angels, guides, spirits. And I really, really had to go deep in it and trust them. When I ran away from residential school and I lived on the streets, and I used to cry, and I used to always ask the universe to get my grandfather to come and get me. And sometimes it's really cold in the winter where I'm from. And I'd be walking around 2 o'clock in the morning and it's 40 below. And I don't know if I'm going to freeze. I don't know what's going to go on. And I'm just praying, wandering around. And then the guides will say, go to this house, just knock on the door. So I go over there and knock, and they'd open the door. Because it's cold back home where I'm from, they usually will ask you to come on in. Sometimes they'll let you sit there and warm up and give you something to drink. But usually I go to somebody and they'd know who I am, and they say, oh, I'll go in the room and sleep in there. So I go and sleep on the floor, and then I get up and I'd wander around in the daytime again. And one day there was a pool hall that was open 24 hours a day. And it was in about June, it was just getting summer. And it was about, 9 o'clock in the morning, and I was up all night wandering around. I was really, really tired. And I thought, well, I'll just check the pool. I'll see if there's somebody there maybe I can hang out with. And the guy that run the pool hall was quite a nice person. His name was Tony. And there was a little arcade room, and he had these arcades shoved up against, and there was like a little porch. It was this little empty place. And every now and then some of the kids on the streets were tired and that they needed a place to hide or just sleep and be safe. So he'd pull that game out and he'd let the person go in there, and then he'd slide the board and push the game back. And you could stay in there all day and sleep. Sometimes he'd give you pop and other things because he knew you were hungry or thirsty. And so I got there and I was just exhausted, and he looked at me and he says, you look really tired. He says, you want to just sleep for a little bit? You go behind that game there and I'll make sure nobody bothers you. So I said, okay, and I went in there and I was sleeping. And somehow my granddad, he was in Inuvik and I didn't know it. Somebody told him they saw me going to the pool hall. So he walked down there and he asked the guy if the guy seen me. The guy told him I was sleeping in that porch, so he came over there and he woke me up. And I was there with my eyes closed, and my granddad was calling me, and I was like, this is a bad dream. And I didn't want to wake up because I was so happy to hear my grandfather's voice. Tears are coming out of my mind, and I'm like, I want to stay in this dream. I don't want to get up. I don't want my granddad to go away. Finally grabbed me and really shook me and opened my eyes. I'm like, oh, it's real. He's here. And I was just so happy. And he said, come on, we got to go now. He says, you're going to your mother's and you're going to sleep there tonight. I'm like, no, I'm not going there. It's like, I don't want to go there. He says, they won't bother you in that. I already talked to her. He says, you're going to go there, you're going to shower, you're going to put on clean clothes. He says, you got to pack all your stuff. He says, there's stuff there. And he says, you make sure your bag's packed for the morning. He says, I'm going to go after I drop you off. He says, I'll come in the morning and get you. So I went to my mom's, and I never trusted my family or anybody. Like, I lived on the streets. I was like a little wildcat, or anything didn't feel good, I just bulked. And I didn't trust a lot. But he told me to stay there, so showered, I ate, and I slept. And in the morning, he came, picked me up, and brought me back to Aklavik. Got home there, and it was a few days later, it dawned on me I was back home, and I sat down with him when I woke up, and I went and sat with him, and told him how angry I was. Told him I'm really, really mad at you. And he says, why? I says, because I was living on the streets, and you knew how hard it was, and I'd pray, I'd ask God to bring you and come and get me. And you never came. And I says, all those years, things were really hard. And he says, up there they told me, he says, they told me I can't do anything. Anyways, my grandfather, he, like I say, he sat down and he talked to me, and I'm like, why didn't you get me when I was 9 years old and it's freezing on the streets? And he says, they told me. He says, you have to go through this. He says, you have to. He says, and they told me it was important. Whatever you're going to learn in what you're doing, one day way in the future, you're going to learn that. It's going to teach you. It's going to help. There's something you're going to learn from it all. And so he just left me. He just trusted. And he says, they finally told me it's time to come and get you now. And he talked to me, I think it was about 3-4 hours, and I cried and everything, and shared a lot of things of my fears and other things. And he tried to get me to look at all the strengths and the good things that came from it. And he never ever really told me what to think or how to live or what to do. And so he says, one day way in your future, you'll understand all of this. And I look back on it and I'm very, very thankful. I'm thankful for Tony and the things he did for some of the kids. I'm thankful for sometimes, he would hide us in this little place, and sometimes he wouldn't tell people we're there even when they were looking for us. He would protect us. So with my grandfather, he had a very, very hard journey because he could talk to the angels. He could see where I am at. He could see what's going on. And so there were times where he knew everything. The angels would show him everything that was going on in my life. But he knew he couldn't come and interfere. He knew I had to figure it out. And one day I would take that in a way and I would really, really help people. So sometimes in our struggles, it's really, really important. It's not people are abandoning you. God's not abandoning you. Not the angels or anything. But it makes you go deep inside. Teaches you to learn and find that light. And really, really trust in something, because you've survived so many things in your life. There's something inside you. There's something you know, and you need to listen to it. Because when those voices talked to me when I was a child, I listened. Because I knew whatever they were telling me was important. And I needed to do what I was being asked, or something can go wrong. And it got me out of many, many, many crazy things. It guided me to many places that actually kept me alive. So I really, really appreciate those things. And like I say, there's something deep inside all of us. Can you really, really go inside and find it? Can you really share your stories? Can you really let go shame and other kinds of things? Can you really honor your soul, which is billions of years old? When you think in other lifetimes you were really brutal, you're really crazy, maybe you were in the army, maybe you were part of cults and all kinds of things. You did all of those lifetimes. There's no shame in it. It's like, now, what is the beauty in it all? What are you going to heal? What are you going to change? What are you going to do with it all? So going inside and really discovering all of those different kinds of things and allowing that bigness to come through and figuring out how you're going to share it. How you're going to be responsible for your teachings, why your soul came here. Because if you're part of the minority, the world's going to attack you. Your culture is going to attack you. All kinds of other things are going to attack you and say you got no rights and you got no this and you got no that. When my native culture, which is Gwich'in up in the Arctic, when we settled our land claims with the government, we had to cede everything. Ceding means you're not even a human. You don't belong here. You got no rights. And we had to literally sit down with the government And we had to barter and we had to do this and that. And we had to agree to get certain rights, to get our land claims and other things. But we had to say basically we're aliens and we don't belong on this planet. And the government says, okay, if you give us this, we give you that. And they gave us so many rights and this and that to live where we live and do the things we do. So it makes you really, really understand a lot. In the land claims, I learned about genocide. I learned how the British went to Australia, went all over the world and did all kinds of things. It wasn't just the natives. The Aborigines have survived. Soon they're going to start stepping up. They're going to start bringing their knowledge and wisdom. There's people there that know a lot of things that are important for the earth. There's people in China that are channelers. They work with the universe and the angels, and they're going to come out and they're going to do their thing. And there's going to be people from every race and color that are going to step up and they're going to speak for God and they're going to stand up to the whole world. They're not going to back down. And no matter what anybody is, you cannot be stopped. If God really wants this, the universe is going to make it. Get out there and you're going to have to speak it and share it. You're going to have to shine your light no matter what anybody says. And this is something I've always had a challenge since I was a little boy. Because I was born with blue eyes, didn't make my life very easy. It made it very hard. You grow up in a native community and you got different colored eyes, different colored skin or hair. They're not going to treat you nice. Everybody's going to kick you like a dog. Everybody's going to beat on you and give you a hard time. You have to stand up for yourself. When you go into these ceremonies and God gives you these gifts and abilities and tells you to share them, there is no tribe, no culture, no anything that can tell you you are wrong. And if anybody's got a problem, they need to talk to the Earth Mother or the universe. Because the universe and Earth Mother, the karma is coming really, really soon. If you understand the North Nodes in astrology, the North Node is in a Taurus, the South Node is in Scorpio. When the North Node moves into Gemini, and the South Node moves into Capricorn, right? Scorpio, Capricorn.
I think it's going to go the other way.
Or Sagittarius.
It's going to go into Aries.
Oh yeah, it goes the other way. Sorry, yeah.
Because they move backwards.
So when it goes into Aries and then it goes into what's before Scorpio?
Good question.
Oh, Libra?
Libra?
Yeah, Libra.
Oh yeah, because it's, yes.
Yeah. So everything right now, in the way the North Node and the South Node is everybody is attacking. For 18 months, everybody's being attacked. If you're a native and you're doing spiritual things, you're being attacked. Whatever you're doing, everything is attacking. If you're trying to go out on TikTok and do things, you're being attacked. And this is what these nodes are doing for 18 months. We're about halfway through. I think it's in July of next year that it's going to move out into the other side. When it does that, everything is going to kick back on people. They're going to get karma. Lots and lots of things are going back on people. So people who are abusing knowledge, energy, using astrology, using all kinds of things, that karma is going to come really, really strong. These people who are attacking spiritual people on TikTok and jealousy and trying to get them stopped and all kinds of other things, they're going to have karma come back to them. And like I say, that's theirs to deal with when it happens.
Ian talked about it a bit on the Cosmic Adults, and he said that because it's North Node moving into Aries and South Node into Libra, we're moving away from logic and reason and into the quick,
Yeah.
like fiery stuff.
Exactly. And like Aries can either go to war or it can reward you. So if you've done really good things, it's just going to bless you. Like after wars, there's always peace. Sometimes for 100 years, there's absolute peace. And Aries will bless everybody and bring peace and rewards and good things and everything. So if you've done everything, when it goes into Aries, you're going to get all kinds of blessings. But if you've done disharmonious things, then it's going to go to war with you. With Libra, it's about justice. So anything that's out of balance, it's going to try to put in balance. So if you've done everything right spiritually, you're going to get all kinds of good blessings. But if you're going out and attacking and doing things and causing disharmony, doing all kinds of things that are not correct, then somewhere that karma is going to come back, and it's going to get way faster. It's speeding up more and more and more, as because Pluto is also moving out of Capricorn into Aquarius, and that's ending something that's very, very old. And if we're already in the age of Aquarius, they say it takes 200 years to move out of one sign into another. So we have been moving out of Pisces for a long, long, long time. I believe we started moving out of Pisces in the 1800s. I can't prove it, but I really believe it's true, because Blavatsky, Rudolf Steiner, and them, who were the enlightened ones, started channeling this stuff. There was a lot of stuff started coming in the 1800s. And we've gone through the 1900s. That's 100 years. We're in 2000. So if you start looking at this, we have moved a lot. And if it's 200 years to move from Pisces into Aquarius, then we're just about done. So the karma and everything that's going on, that's trying to end with the Pisces so we can go into Aquarius, and we advance and move at the end of 2023, Pluto is going to move totally into Aquarius. So that's going to trigger a whole new paradigm. It's going to herald in a whole new thing. So there's going to be a lot of big changes. A lot of things are going to go on. So this is where, like I say, with astrology and that, if you really, really understand it, natives knew astrology. Every culture has astrology of some kind. A lot of them have forgotten it. But some, like I say, in some natives, they still talk about the stars. They talk about the Big Dipper. They call it the Seven Sisters. And if you look in astrology, you're going to find stuff that talks about the Seven Sisters. In astrology, you can find there's a being in astrology that's called Sedna. And the Inuvialuit in the Arctic, they talk about Sedna, the sea god. And she is a god. And they have stories about her that's related with astrology. So there's really lots of ancient knowledge, but it's broken down and things have been forgotten. And that's what, when England took over the world, they tried to erase all of that. When they burned the witches and they created the Bible and tried to make us afraid of all of this so we wouldn't have the knowledge. So we're going through a big transition here, and everybody's being challenged. So if God's getting you to do things, believe in God, because He will protect you. He will find every way to support you, and same with the earth will do that too. Gwich'in, in my language, just it's what the tribe calls itself. And all ancient cultures just said they were children of the earth. So Gwich'in means we are the children of the earth, like we're one tribe. Long time ago, we were known as the Kutchin. Kutchin was a very, very big tribe. If you really go back in history and you look at everything, they were in BC, they were in Alberta, they were all over the Northwest Territories, right up to just about the Arctic Ocean. They're in Alaska. There's 5 tribes in Alaska. That's part of mine. They're in the Yukon. There's Old Crow, Whitehorse. And like I say, it's Canada, United States. I mean, Alaska and Yukon, it's like in that area. But at one time, the Kutchin went way down into BC, Alberta, and that they were a very, very big tribe, and they married into all these other cultures. One of the tribes that is related to us is the Navajo. And they tell a story about when they migrated from the north, where I'm from, and how they traveled, and they moved all the way down into the States, and they settled way down in the States around Hopi Land in Arizona. And their language is the same as us, and they call themselves the Den. But a long time ago, we were known as the Kutchin. And they try to say the people in the territories are the Den, but the Den are the people from around Yellowknife. There's a tribe there that they call themselves the Dene. And that's where that comes from. But the Gwich'in was like, there's stuff that's recorded, goes back to when the first settlers went up north, and some of the preachers and that recorded all this stuff about the Kutchin and the tribe. And there's even drawings of us when we we had bows, and you'll see a drawing with a piece of bone through the nose, and we had long hair and all kinds of stuff. And originally our tribe, when the French settlers paddled up the Mackenzie River with the explorers, and the natives came to the Mackenzie River, and they're watching these white people paddling, and they're staring the sun's off, and it's ricocheting off the light, and the light's bouncing off the water, and they're staring, trying to figure out who these strangers were making all this noise, because when natives paddle on the water, you can't really hear them. But if you hear white people and they're in their canoes, you hear all kinds of noise and grunting and banging and you name it. It's just like you can hear them from miles away, and these natives are like, who's these strangers making noise? So when the Europeans pulled up to the shore, and there was a French guy there, and he was the interpreter. So they asked, the English people asked him, well, who are these people? He said, they are Lushu. And in French, Lushu means slanted eyes. So this is what they called us. We were the slanted eyes because we were squinting into the sun, trying to see them. So he looked at all of them. He called us slanted eyes. So a few years ago, or 20 years ago or so, we took back our name, the Gwich'in. And like I say, we're a tribe in the Northwest Territories, the Yukon and Alaska. There's 5 communities in Alaska that still practice a lot of our ancient ways and stuff like that. But there's the Navajo in the States that are from our ancestors, and they migrated down into the States, and they're a pretty big tribe down there, and they speak our language. Some of their words are a little altered and changed, but when we were doing our land claims, they flew up and they celebrated with us. And they shared stories about their migration and everything. That's the Gwich'in. It's the last tribe of Indians, and you fall in the Arctic Ocean. So to the person who said they're Inuvialuit,
safe or threatening energy in the home, how do we clear that? Especially if they don't have you to just come by your house and clear their house.
This is where you got ancestors. This is where you got angels. This is where your belief in God, because it is your sacred space. And whatever you don't want in there. And you can burn sage. You can have somebody come in that works with energy. You can call in your own spirit guides, your own ancestors, because you're supposed to have protecting angels, and they're supposed to protect your home. Your bedroom is sacred. It's off limits. And there's lots of different ways of releasing energies, but don't get scared and fight with it, because maybe it's stuck there. Maybe it's a spirit that was going by and it came because it believed that maybe you can release it or help it. So don't just call in Archangel Michael with a flaming sword to attack it. Ask, pray for answers. Maybe even find a psychic that could come in and tune in and understand what it is, and then have it released. Maybe it wants to go into another dimension. Maybe there's an angel that's just going to come in and lift it out. But ask the universe, ask your guardian angels to protect you and whoever lives in there, and give you the answer on how to deal with this so it can clean up and you can have a nice home to live in. And so for you who just asked that question, wherever you're from, just put it out there, because there are other people that might be on this that live in the same area as you, that may be able to come in, or they know people that can help you. So let them know. Just say, yeah, I'm just looking for help, and is there somebody there? Because there's a lot of spiritual people out there, and like I say, if you're opening up and you're willing to deal with this, then somebody in your area, because there's always somebody around that can help. And that's where you ask the universe. And right now you're on a site where there's a lot of people, and if you're in the States or another part of the world, wherever you are, just say, well, this is where I'm at. Is there somebody that can help me in this area? And see what comes in and what you can find out and get help with. My eagle feather, it was gifted to me about 14 years ago. I was at a ceremony. It was an outdoor ceremony where a lot of healers and energy workers and people came together on this ranch, and I got invited to this place up in Hinton. And I was just there, and I do a lot of channeling and other things, and people invited me because they wanted to know what I could share on certain subjects and stuff like that. And there was some medicine people and other people coming to the ceremony, and there was sweat lodges and things like that. So sure enough, I joined. It was a 3 or 4 day thing, and I just enjoyed being there and meeting and talking with these people and doing ceremonies and stuff. While I was there, a guy from Alaska came, and he knew the guy that owned the ranch, and he asked the guy, is there somebody here that maybe can help me? He has traveled all over the world to healers and spiritual people and psychics and that, and nobody was able to help him. And the guy that owned the ranch pointed me out, and he said, you see that guy right there? Go and see him. And I'm standing there in the crowd, and I'm talking with people, and he comes up and taps me on the shoulder, and I turn around, and he says, can you help me? And I'm like, I don't know. And he says, well, let's go and sit and talk. So we went off, and I sat down with him, and he started talking, and I'm like, oh crap, I know what I need to do for him. So I spent about an hour or two with him, and in natives they call it doctoring, when you call in spirits and other things, and they just work through you with energy and that. And so after about 2 hours, they told me it was done, and I let him know that, and he felt really, really good. And when he was walking away, the universe said in the morning he's going to gift you something. So I'm like, didn't think about it. I'm like, okay. And then they showed me that he was going to give me an eagle feather. I'm like, my ego's just making this up. So in the morning, I'm sitting around with everybody, and we're having coffee, sitting around the fire, and we're joking and laughing and telling stories and stuff. And he starts coming, and he's got his hands behind his back. And he comes up and he says, I have something for you. And he says, stand up, because I was sitting down. So I stood up and I sort of went towards him. And he says, put out your hand. So I went like this. And he had a cardboard over this feather. And he dropped it into my hands. And when it went into my hands, his energy went through me. And I literally dropped on my knees. This energy was going through me. I was going like this. And the energy, and I was like, and this was, like I say, was covered in a cardboard box. And everybody's staring at me. And I'm like, whoa. And then tears started flowing out of my eyes. And energy and stuff was going on. And he says, I really, really thank you, he says, for what you did. He says, and he says, this is the biggest gift I can give you. And he says this eagle feather was his grandfather's. And his grandfather traveled a lot of places. He was from Alaska, and he was an elder. And he did ceremonies, and he took this eagle everywhere. And when he was passing away, he gave it to this guy. And the guy said, this is the most special thing. And he says, this is the biggest thing I can give you. And he gave me this eagle feather. And like I say, there's so much energy in it. And so whenever I do healings and energy work, I like waving it like this. It's sort of like a wand, and it cuts energy. Energy goes through wherever it needs to, and it just does all kinds of things. Sometimes I'll just sit and twirl it for a while. And if there's negative energies in that, it's like cotton candy. Some people can see the energy start building. And sometimes I feel it coming down and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, universe, angels, whoever, I just flick the energy, and I ask the universe to take it. Sometimes I'll flick it to the earth, ask it to go into the earth, because the earth mother will transmute it into light. I don't need to tell her. She knows exactly what to do with negative energy. So I always make sure the energy goes out into the universe or into the earth. I don't just drop it on the floor so Mercedes can absorb it after I leave here. So she can be like a vacuum going, ooh, give me all that bad energy. So I always make sure it goes. So wherever I go and I work with energy, if it's at an energy center or yoga center or somebody's home, I always make sure something is taking the bad energy and cleaning it. I always ask the Earth Mother to just drain and pull away every last thing. Even that girl can ask the Earth Mother if she can come in and just pull bad energies and things away. And she might come in and just do a whole bunch of things, because she will protect you. She will send in all kinds. She's got all kinds of energies and things that will assist you in different ways. So that's how I ended up with the eagle feather, was what I did for this guy. He was in I think it was the Korean War. And he had a lot of bad spirits and a lot of things because of that. And it really affected him. And I was very thankful that the Creator allowed me to help him, that I was able to do what I did. because it was not something I expected. I went to this thing just to hang out with people, to hear stories from the elders, do ceremonies, and share my part, whatever I could. And so when he came to me and I realized that I had answers, and I spent 2 hours with him, and he gifted me this, and it really meant a lot. And this eagle feather has done so many wonderful things for people's lives over the 14 years. And like I say, it's an extension. It's like God's energy and everything. And I just trust and I just allow. And like I say, it cuts cords, it allows energy through, it cleans up things. And I just let the spirits and the universe just come through. So I like using it in my smudging and prayers when I send blessings. I like the energy in God, and I just let the energy just like northern lights flying everywhere through every dimension around the world, wherever it needs to go and what it needs to be received.
Right through me. It's like, holy shit. Oh my god. I like the part of what you're saying where you're like, I didn't do it for like props. Like you went there and you did it to do right because that's just who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like my condor feather, and I don't often bring it out,
But tonight,
the prophecy of the eagle and the condor, a lot of people know about that. Condor is in the south, the eagle is in the north in Alaska, and they say the two are going to come together. And when it does, all prophecies, everything, all the natives are going to wake up on this continent. We're going to take our knowledge and we're going to start healing and sharing it with the world. My granddad told me as a little boy that all the native knowledge belongs to everybody on the planet, and the natives have to do that. They have to give this knowledge to the whole world.
just quickly, Lulu said that she remembered to say she's been practicing how to clear energy similar to you.
Oh, nice, beautiful.
I just wanted to share that before you went into the...
Nice. So this condor feather came to me from a woman in the States. I didn't know her. I didn't even know I was going to meet her. And I was living up in Edson. I was working in construction and stuff like that. And I would go to this one metaphysical store, and I would do meditations, and I would channel and do energy work and that. And the lady that ran it, she would always ask me to come over. Some days I would sit there and have soup and coffee, and people would come in, and we'd just sit around in these big groups and talk about spirituality. She sold spiritual books and crystals, and she had workshops and things, and I would always do things and share with her and that. So one fall, she phones me up and she says, you have to come to this ceremony. These people are coming in from out of town. I'm like, okay, sure. So my angels told me a couple of months before I would end up with a condor feather, and I'm like, yeah, my ego is acting stupid again. What am I going to do? I'm going to go to a zoo, or, what am I going to do? There's no condors around here. And I just said, yeah, you can get an eagle feather. I'm like, yeah, my ego is inflated here. It's doing all kinds of silly things. Maybe I'll go to the Edmonton Zoo or Calgary Zoo and somebody will say, here's a condor feather. It's like, yeah, sure. So anyways, I went to the ceremony, and I was sitting at this one table, staring at the door, waiting for these people to come in. And this lady had spent 15 years in Peru learning shamanism with all kinds of different shamans in Peru. And she spent all this time, and when she had finished, all the shamans blessed this condor feather. And she moved back to the United States, and she brought the feather with her. When she got to the States, she was told by Spirit that she had to bring this to Canada. And somewhere she would see a guy and it belonged to him. So I was sitting there staring at these people, and they're all coming in the door and they get in. I'm like, okay, so where's this person supposed to do the ceremony? And she comes in about 2 minutes later, and she walks in the door. She walks right up to me and stares at me. She says, you sit there. I have something for you. So I'm like, okay. And she says, don't move. She goes back out. She goes to the car. And when she comes in, she puts this in my hand. And she says, Spirits told me to bring this. And she told me the whole story about being in Peru and how the shamans blessed it and how the spirits told her to bring this to me. So I carry it. There's a lot of energy. There's a lot of stuff in it. And
Yeah, people are like, every Raven Chick said that every time you cross them, she gets like a jolt of energy.
yeah.
And people are like, I can feel it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can look up the prophecy of the eagle and the condor and all the things it talks about. The people in Central America really talk about that prophecy, how these two are going to come together. It's going to unite this whole continent with all the natives, all the cultures. And it's going to really heal, and all these superstitions and all these beliefs in power and all the abuse and the misuse of native spirituality is going to end. And we're going to actually start working with the world, and we're going to start changing things. And it's now the time of the natives. God's going to get the natives now to step up. The Jews did it. Then the Egyptians did it. Then the Tibetans did it. Now it's coming to this continent, and it's the natives. And all our knowledge and everything is going to be used. Everything we know about plants, everything we know about the spirit world, all kinds of stuff. And this prophecy has been there. And you can listen to Arvo Lookenhorse. You can read Black Elk's book. You can go to many, many ceremonies. You can go to the Hopi. They'll tell you their prophecies. They'll share their knowledge. You can go to the Navajo, and they will tell you stories and share all kinds of stuff. The Hopis even put out a book. It's the Hopi Survival Book. And there's all kinds of knowledge and prophecy is in it about the end times. There was a guy called Sun Bear. He wrote about 10 books, prophesied a lot of stuff. He lived in Washington State, just down from Vancouver. He stayed around Mount Rainier. He traveled the world. He did a lot of teachings. And he put out books to help people. And there's a lot of really good wisdom in there. There's a lot of stuff like that you can find. I always tell people, find herbal books. Wherever you stay in an area, find a book on all the herbs and the plants, the roots, the berries, the medicines. You're going to find a book. If you're here in BC, in different areas and regions, there's different books on all of the plant life and the things that you can use. And a lot of these herbalists know way more about these plants than what the natives do, because the natives have been disconnected. That's what residential school was about, was to destroy that, to make us hate our own culture. Because you'll see a lot of apples out there. I have a lot of cousins and friends and that are apples. When they're around natives, they're just red. Oh, I walk the red road. They do all the ceremonies. As soon as the natives are gone, they put on all their makeup, and they're white people. They're red on the outside, but they're white on the inside. And it's not an insult. It's what the residential school and all these genocidal things that were done by churches and that did to destroy us, to make us ashamed of our ancestors and who we are. So if you really, really want to know about herbs and medicines and things in your area, find a herbalist. You want to find some kind of smudge, juniper, cedar, sage, other kinds of plants that you can burn. You can burn mugwort, you can burn lavender, you can burn all kinds of plants. There's thousands of them that will purify and cleanse and heal. So if you're using it in prayers and gifts and offerings, then use it with love, praying for people, doing all kinds of things. But look up prophecies, and don't allow somebody to stop you from speaking. And if they're projecting negativity at you and that, they will have their karma. I'm going to keep speaking no matter what anybody says. I came here, people treated me bad since I was a little child. People looked down on me and mocked me and all kinds of stuff, blamed me for all kinds of stuff. I'm okay with that. Because the universe is the one that really knows everything. They're the ones that gave me knowledge. They're the ones that were there with me, and they got me to this age. And some people remember me from my past, and they condemn me because I was a stupid child and I made mistakes. They don't look at their own mistakes and things they hide in their lives. They don't look at their own relatives and see all the bad things, how they cover up and hide their own relatives and all kinds of stuff. So I live with my stuff. I know who I am. I'm the one that lived on the streets. I survived what the preacher did to me in the residential school. I survived all kinds of things. I went into a lot of ceremonies to earn my knowledge. This was given to me by a very, very, very beautiful woman, and the 15 shaman who prayed over this probably saw me and what I would do in the future, so they blessed it. God made sure it came to me. And it was given to me as a gift for a reason, just like the guy that came from Alaska that gifted me this with all that energy and blessings. And there's other things I carry that were gifted to me that have a lot of energy. I've never asked for it. I don't go looking for things. People come up to me and they say, this is for you. And when it comes to me, the spirit world comes in and things go on. So ask for your gifts. Whatever it is, whatever your tools are, whatever kind of spiritual things, what kind of energy work, what kind of healer, ask for it. If you were very gifted as a child and you were scared and the church told you were evil and you had to say for it to go and you were never supposed to do this and that, say, I'm sorry I made a mistake, but I want all of it back. If you have a gift to astro travel, ask the universe why. Don't go in and out of people's homes and look at things you don't need to. There's way more things to do with an ability like astro traveling. Look into the future. Are you going to be alive in the future? Are your family going to be alive in the future? Look in the past. What is there in the past that you might need to see so you can help people? Maybe there's a spirit, an ancient spirit waiting for you to go in the past so they can give you knowledge so you can bring it to your family and friends and relatives to help them heal and change. And when they give you this, are you going to tell the world? Or are you going to believe you're powerful? Keep it to yourself. So look inside and try to honor these things. I have had to go through a lot of struggles. Nobody handed me anything. I didn't sit on welfare. Even when I was starving, I tried not to be on welfare. I didn't try to beg on the streets. Sometimes I think I didn't deserve anything, so I just suffered through all kinds of hardships. We all make mistakes. And something hurt us to make us angry, set us on the wrong path. Nobody has a right to judge that. I worked very, very long in my life to be sober. I didn't go to counselors. I don't tell the government, oh, you guys messed me up in residential, so you gotta pay for counselors, and oh, poor me, you gotta give me a house and give me welfare and all of that. I created a business. I read, I do all kinds of stuff. I got hired by the Oliver Band, and I go to that band and I do stuff. They hired me to go into the prisons to smudge and teach and do stuff. I go places and I live my life. I share my story and I bring my gifts and my knowledge. And I try to help other people understand that they also have all kinds of beautiful things and they deserve good. But heal the anger. Use every ability and things for a good thing. Because then it's going to start changing everything. The difficulties will go away. All kinds of good things will come to you. Manifest and create the good. That's what I've been trying to do. I don't rely on my family. My family has never done much to help me in any way. They didn't care if I struggled. I worked to be here, and I'm glad I did it. And I'm willing to share and do all kinds of things to help people. But you're going to see the prophecy will come true. The eagle and condor will come together. The natives will help this planet. And there are many teachers out there, many, many elders, and they're not going to take anything anybody says. They're going to do what God asks them to do. They're not going to fear nothing. And somewhere I came here to do this. People have always known that. People saw me as a little children. People were scared of me, even in my community. A lot of people still fear me. And like I say, I believe in God. And you can tell stories and say whatever you want and judge me. I know I'm willing to try to help people. I pray that one day I can go back to Klavik and Inuvik and share my knowledge with my relatives, friends, and family, and let them know what I've learned on my journey and what they can discover and learn and what they can do to change too.
Someone's wondering why people fear you.
It's energy. People are scared of the unknown. People are scared of seers. People are scared of all kinds of things. Because I'll tell you the truth. Whatever I see, I'm going to tell you, even if you don't like it sometimes. And I was that way when I was a child. I told people the truth. My grandfather told me, you have to be careful because people are scared of you. And the residential told, and the Christians told, and even you go to church today. If somebody is channeling, if somebody is seeing the future, if somebody is getting messages from angels and spirits, they're all working for the devil. People called me the devil. People accused me of all kinds of things because what I said sometimes came true and it scared them. My mother was scared of me because residential school said it was evil. And like I say, I've been this way all my life. 90% of you that are on the other side there, whoever are out there, like even my friend Ulu in Alaska, she's very, very gifted. Mercedes, Cindy, other people around here, they're very gifted. It's not the devil. It's nothing to do with the devil. They see different things. They see visions. They get told how to help people heal and change, and they download and they channel and that. And none of it was the devil. So where is the truth in it all? Were you in residential school? Were you programmed to believe that your ancestors were heathen and evil and only work with the devil, or you're ashamed of them? Are you ashamed of your own family and relatives? I'm not ashamed of none of my family or relatives. They're all on their journeys. They can all heal and change. I believe that. I've found and learned many beautiful things. I've met many, many wonderful people. And even in the Bible, Jesus, all of his apostles, they all were sinners and other things, and he gave them all the opportunity, and they all became amazing people. Do you know fully the true story about all of them? You don't. Do you know the full true story about their wives? You don't. There's lots of things removed from the Bible. Jesus wasn't a holy person. He was a married human being. He had children. He did a lot of stuff. One of the things I was telling Cindy today, we were talking about spiritually growing and all kinds of things. And she was talking about all these things that are part of the 3D or the lower chakras that keep you stuck in the 3 lower energies. And food, envy, jealousy, power, all kinds of things keeps you stuck in this lower energy. And I says, well, what are you going to do to change that? And sometimes you have to sacrifice something in your life. You have to give up something to experience something new. So the universe will test you to see if you'll sacrifice and let something. So in everybody's life, what are you going to sacrifice? A lot of people thinking drinking wine is the greatest thing. Can you sacrifice that? Can you go with the rest of your life never ever having beer, wine, or anything? Do you know if it's going to change you? Do you know if it's a good thing or a bad thing? You won't know until you sacrifice and give it up. Like I always say, give something 1 year. If you're going to change and heal something, give it 1 year. Spend 1 year doing everything. If you were angry all your life, try for 1 year to be happy, not to be angry. Read books about healing. Go and meet people. Do all kinds of things to grow and heal. But spend 1 year trying. And if you don't like it, say, oh, I'm going back to the bar. I'm going to buy a keg and I'm going to lay underneath it and I'm going to drown. I'm going to buy a liquor store and I'm going to drink every bottle in the damn liquor store. God will give it all back to you. He never takes anything from you you don't want to let go. But if you really, truly want to heal and stuff like that, look deep inside yourself and give yourself permission to try something for 1 year and see if it really, really brings something wonderfully beautiful to you. And it changes everything. I had to change lots of things. When I left the Arctic when I was 26 and I got to Edmonton, I had a lot of anger. I hated Mr. Holman, the preacher that ran that Stringer Hall, beyond anything. But that hatred was so strong because he told me that we were heathens and we'd all burn in hell. God was going to let Satan burn us all. And I made myself a vow when I was in that residential school that I was going to learn everything. Because why are the Jews special? Why are the Chinese special? Why are they going to have the earth? Why is God going to bless and give them everything? Why do the Muslims say they're the ones that are going to take over the world? Why do the Sikhs have 10 gods and they're special? Why are the Tibetan Buddhists special? Why are the Zens and all these other people that meditate are special? Why are natives just heathens that are going to burn in hell? If that guy hadn't pissed me off and made me that angry, and my granddad told me read and learn. When I was around 30, I discovered all kinds of answers because I went to a lot of places and I tried lots and I had to make lots of changes. And I read and I studied and I went to ceremonies and sweat lodges, anything to get answers. And one day I sat down and I thought, I would love to sit with Mr. Holman now. And I heard he died of cancer. And I was like, that's a ripoff. Because I was so damn mad to find answers. And I realized everything he told us was a lie. Everything. There is no race on this planet God is just going to throw in hell and burn and say they're heathens. If you have learned spirituality and you have healed and let go your angers and you stop judging people and stop being bitter and blaming and that, then you're going to receive a lot of good things. But if you choose to be angry, you're your own jailer. You're in your own prison. If you want to be drunk and live on Skid Row and do drugs, that's yours. Nobody's making you do it. You decide to. And you can try to blame everybody for your failures. But in the end, you're going to have to just face yourself. And I had to look at all of that. So I'm really, really thankful for everything. I'm thankful for those beautiful Cree Indians I met that took me into the sweat lodge the first time and never told me a damn thing. They just said, you're coming with us. And I crawled in that sweat lodge and I didn't know they were going to close the door and it was going to be pitch black. And there was all these other strange men in there and they're all talking in Cree. Not one of them spoke English. And I was in there with them and they had drums and they were drumming and yelling and screaming and talking in this language. And I'm like, is this evil? Is this good? And this guy just dumping water on these rocks and it's getting hotter and hotter. And I think they're insane trying to kill me and I'm getting scared. And now I'm thinking, should I punch this guy in the mouth, Going totally nuts sitting in this thing wondering, what the hell am I doing? And then all of a sudden it stopped and went quiet and somebody said, door. And this door flew open and everybody crawled out of there and we hit the grass and we're laying there and I'm like, I'm going to die. Just steaming and it's a hot sunny day. And I'm like, oh my God, I thought they were going to kill me. And it says, okay, next round. And they're telling me, get inside. And I'm like, you guys are nuts. And I did this 4 times. Even how scared I was. I didn't know what the hell was going on. But after it was finished, I felt so amazing. I'm like, there is something so powerful in this. And I had some visions and I had some stuff with the spirit world. And I'm like, I don't know what this is, but I'm going to keep coming back. And I'm going to learn every damn thing I can learn. And I spent a couple of years being Muscapios for these elders. I went to every kind of ceremony, anything. They phoned me up, I was there. I didn't give a shit if it was 3 o'clock in the morning. They said, be out on the corner. We're coming by in a van, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll be out there standing and the van would pull up. I'd jump in. They wouldn't tell me where we were going. I'm going down the highway. I don't know anyone. And I'm going to strange reserves. I'm going all over the place. And I'm having the most profound, amazing experiences. And then I start realizing and learning Cree words and songs. And I start realizing the ceremonies. And I start getting taught and all kinds of things start happening. And it opened a really, really big, beautiful world. I'm not afraid of native spirituality. I've done sun dancing with blood Indians down in southern Alberta. I've done shaking tents. I've done UEPs. I've done night lodges. I've done all kinds of stuff. And I just believe in the Creator, and there is magic. And there's many, many other lovely, beautiful ceremonies around the world that I would love to go to. I'd love to go there and go as deep, 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 deep inside and allow the Creator and every sacred thing to come through. And I really wish nothing but goodness to all my relatives in Whitehorse, Old Crow, Klavik, Nuvik, McPherson, Arctic Red, Paulatuck, Sax Harbor, Coppermine, Delaney, Yellowknife, all over the place. And all across Canada and every province. Even some of my relatives live in the States and other parts of the world. And they've been scarred by the residential school. Their relatives, their aunts, their uncles. So I pray you all heal and you all find that goodness. And I pray that for the Aborigines. I pray it for the people in England. I pray it for all different cultures. I hope this is helping. It's not to make anybody feel sad or sorry. It's trying to show you how beautiful everything is. And when you get to the other side of it, you start seeing how big it is and how powerful. And it's really through God. So somewhere my life's going to end on this planet. And when it does, I'm going to be in the spirit world. And I got to face the universe for using my mind wrong, for doing things, for taking spirituality or knowledge or whatever, and throwing energy at people. Because I like the way the natives say, there is good medicine and there is bad medicine. Good medicine is good prayers, anything that's healing, loving, and good and nurturing and helping others. Bad medicine is when you're throwing energy at people, you're using superstition, you're attacking people, you're using your mind in a negative way that's harmful, you're wishing bad things on people and all kinds of stuff. You're going to elders and you're giving them flags so they could pray to hurt people. Or you're using it in a way to take things that don't belong to you. That is bad medicine. If you're doing it like when I go to Sundance and I hang a flag, I hang it for everybody I know, not just myself. I put it there so everybody will receive their gifts. So everybody will make it into the future. Everybody will have a home or food or whatever it is they need. Everybody will have something good for the year. And when I pray with those flags and I tie them on that tree and that tree stands up, when I was tied to that tree and I was praying, I prayed for all of the Arctic. I prayed for the world. I prayed for the future. I prayed for the children and the animals because I was tied to that tree. And I prayed for everything for 4 days. That's all I can do is stare at that tree and pray. I did it without food and water for 4 days. And I did it with Blackfoot, and I didn't understand their language. But I learned it pretty fast. I learned how to sing their songs. And I loved when I hear the old woman yelling, Igagima, Igagima, which means try harder. But somewhere inside you got an energy that can come up and pull you through all kinds of things you don't think you can make it through. So I've learned a lot of things, and I'm really thankful. I am really thankful to the Sioux Indian medicine man that taught me a lot of stuff, who showed up in my life. I'm thankful to a lot of other medicine men and medicine women that showed up in my life, healers and spiritual people from around the world who opened up and shared and helped me understand a lot of things. I'm thankful for the elders back home who prayed for us. There was a lot of elders, and they would say prayers. My granddad would pray for us. Our grandparents prayed that we're still here, we're in the future. Some of them are still in the spirit world, still praying for us, still believing that things are going to turn out good. Some of them are around us, helping us. So there's a lot of beautiful things, and it's not about pity or feeling sorry or anything. It's about how am I going to change my life? When am I going to stop these silly things? Because if your life is really negative, then maybe you're using your mind in a way that's creating that, and it just keeps bringing difficult challenges. Maybe you're really, really spiritual and people are jealous, and you got a light and an energy and you don't know. You're a healer and you're really gifted, and people just treat you really mean. They kick you on the corner like a little dog, and they treat you really bad. They walk on you like a doormat in front of a door. They clean their shoes on you. People spit on you and laugh at you and call you names all the time. I know all of that, but I survived it. It hasn't done anything to me. It's just made me stronger. It's made me believe more in God and more in spirituality and all kinds of beautiful things. So, is there anything there people want to ask? Because that's pretty deep. And like I say, for everybody, there's something beautiful inside you all. So I really appreciate when you sit with me and share and be a part of this, because somehow your thoughts, your prayers, and that can impact my life in a big way. But sometimes there's people out there that can impact it in the negative. And they got to understand, sooner or later, that bad medicine goes back. You know, there's a thing called a boomerang. So if I'm sitting here and I decide to take a boomerang and I throw it at you, and it's energy and it hits you, it's stuck there. But somewhere, somehow, that boomerang is going to break free and it's going to start spinning. And when it spins, it's going to go and go and go. And whoever created that negative thought, that done anything negative to a person, that boomerang is going to come back to you even worse than what you sent at a person. And it's your energy, it's going to find you. That's where sometimes if you go to a medicine man and healer, or you go to an energy worker, they release all these bad energies. And whoever sent that to hurt a person, it goes back like a boomerang, really, really bad to that person. And that's when you get your karma, because it's your energy and it knows it's you because you're the one that created and sent it. And that's how it works.
You want to know what's funny? Well, funny. The last person's question was about karma.
Really?
Yeah.
And karma is different too. It's when you've had so many lifetimes, sometimes in other lifetimes we're a really bad person. Really bad. We did terrible things in other lifetimes. We weren't all angels all our lifetimes. So sometimes in this lifetime we brought things in, and some things happen to us. Sometimes people treat us bad or something goes on. Well, maybe in another lifetime we did something really terrible to that person. So if you understand that and you thank the person instead of going and hurting them again, because each time you hurt, it goes back and forth. So sometimes you just go, okay, universe, whatever this was, I'm just moving on from it. I'm not going to fight with it. I'm not going to worry about it. And that will heal and clear up the karma, and that person will just disappear out of your life. They'll never come back, and you'll just move on. Sometimes you'll forget it, wouldn't even remember it. So karma is a really, really interesting, because karma actually is a teacher. It's not a dark spirit, it's not a demon, it's not Satan. It's actually a teacher. And there's good karma and there's bad karma. And like I say, it all depends on the lifetime or what you're doing in this lifetime, what you're learning, and how you're using things, how you're honoring, how you're generating love and good things. Because one thing is, you can never protect nobody. You always just tell God and the angels to protect each person, because they have all those spirits and things to protect them. A lot of people believe that somebody can protect them. That person's busy living their lives. They're not in your back pocket. They're not hiding under your you're not hiding under their armpit. So if something goes wrong, that person, like I say, they're not protecting you. They have to live too. They have to do things. So when it comes to karma, it's like, okay, what is all of this about? Why does it happen? If you came in right from a child and you had really difficult challenges, then you came here to be a healer. And you already created all of that. You created every man, woman, and child an experience. So that somewhere when you understand all of this, you're going to use it to heal people. It's not karma. It's not anything. It's something you chose. And I chose a very, very challenging, hard life. My granddad said, one day way in the future, you will understand it. When I was a child, I was very angry because I wanted him to make me understand and help me so I could see it. I wanted him to open up and show me the future and give me answers. But now I've gotten to this point, I look back on it all, like I say, I thank Mr. Holman, because if he hadn't pissed me off and made me that angry, Maybe I wouldn't have read 5 Bibles. Maybe I wouldn't have read a lot of things. Maybe I would have never went to that sweat lodge with those Cree Indians. So whatever is a catalyst, sometimes it will make you angry. And it'll push you and push you and push you. And if you use that anger to find your answers, you're not going to use it to hurt people. You're not going to create karma. You're actually going to heal yourself and heal everybody and everything around you. Because as you're healing your life, you're healing your friends, your relatives, and your ancestors too. So there's a really, really big, powerful thing. So when you're angry, try to use that anger in a way that's constructive. I like finding answers. I like doing something than just wanting to be angry and want to get even and do stuff. And sometimes I like going in the garden and just being shown or given an answer to something.
What about fear?
Fear just interferes and blocks you. It doesn't allow you to see the future. And that this planet is designed to just keep you afraid, and it's all an illusion. Because fear is a chemical response in your body, and your mind is creating some kind of chemical that makes you feel uncomfortable, makes you want to run, makes you want to panic, makes all kinds of stuff. But if you can close your eyes when you're afraid and you start looking inside for whatever it is you're afraid, see if you can find it. Like really, really sit in and search to see if you can find that fear. You're not going to. And if you do it long enough, when you come out, you're not going to be afraid because that energy is going to be gone. Because when you understand what fear is, you turn on that, it's called a neurotransmitter that floods your body with all these chemicals that make you create fear. And when you understand it, you can actually shut off that. Next time this thing that comes you were afraid of happens, you're just going to look at it. It's not going to do anything. You're going to go, oh, and you're just going to walk by it. It's not even going to affect you. And Joe Dispenza and a lot of other scientists are proving this now. Science is going to prove all these things, and we're going to stop all of this. We're going to go back to being these enlightened spiritual beings, and we're going to get rid of superstition and lots of other things. Eventually, we're going to have telekinesis where everybody is going to read one another's minds. There's going to be no lies, no deceit. Anybody that's using their mind wrong, everybody's going to know it. Nothing is going to be hidden. And that's coming. People are going to become conscious more and more and more of that. So we got to get really responsible in everything we do and what we practice and everything else. And like I say, if you're in something and there's still something in the 3 lower chakras, ask how to finish it up really fast. The universe knows how. It has all kinds of answers, and if you ask it in the right way, it will help you solve that.
Someone's asking about sin, and I'm wondering if that's tying in with the lower chakras at all.
Yeah. Part of it is learning. Like I say, it's part of the fear dynamic with this planet. If person does something for 20 lifetimes or more, they're knowingly, intentionally doing that, then they're creating a really, really negative thing. But if you know it is something and you change that, then the universe will heal and change everything. They'll give you the answers and show you the truth. But with some beings, they spent many, many, many lifetimes carrying on and practicing negative things. They don't want to change. So they create this negative force that they got to face and deal with. So it's a really deep, long thing, and it takes a long time to learn. It's not something you can talk about in 5 minutes, and then it's nothing to fear. Because if you fear it, it's just going to impound, and it's just going to keep creating, and it's going to keep creating more fears. Then people control you and they manipulate you. That's all it comes down to. That's what churches used it for. That's why they created confessions with the Roman Catholic Church and all kinds of other things. So they can tell you something. But if you really, really search, you're going to find the answer. And you're going to heal it. And nobody's ever going to manipulate you and use that to control or keep you afraid. You're going to move past it. And you're going to change your life. Is there anybody there seeing stuff in the spirit world or energetics around me, Cindy, or Mercedes?
I see a very ancient and native guide with you.
Yeah, a lot of people see this ancient guide, and He's been with me ever since I was a little boy. And he's one of them that watches over me. There's a whole bunch of different ones. And they come in for different reasons, depending on what I'm channeling, what kind of things I need to do. And they know, so they'll come in and they'll work with me, and then they'll step away for whoever else.
Gas Can 1776 is saying they're seeing shadows behind you.
Yeah. There's always shadows. There's always people astral traveling. There's always something going on. And people like trying to astral travel in and see they can play silly little games and other kinds of stuff. So that goes on all the time. Wherever a person is spiritual doing stuff, somebody is going to jump in and out, and you'll see different kinds of energies. Some people will come in and they'll hide behind plants and that, and they think nobody can see them. But I know there's a lot of people out there that see this kind of stuff. I used to find it really interesting. I go to places to meditate, and we would start meditation, and there would be a plant in a corner, and somebody would ask to travel in and stand, be hiding behind it and think nobody can see them and stuff like that. So people do all kinds of stuff.
Luz says she sees a young buffalo. It's a happy, playful energy. Victoria the guide said she saw a little yellow bird on your right shoulder.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you.
Ashton says Blu-ray Metatron vibes.
Wow, very cool. That's really, really high energy.
Someone else is seeing a little yellow bird.
Oh, well, no, that person also saw a Karen guide around you. So I think that person is kind of being sarcastic.
I'm not sure. Not sure.
Well, there's ancestors who are Christians, and there are other kinds of things. So in the spirit world, their Karens are very negative, and they think you're wrong, and you're not, gonna go to heaven, and you're not. So they're there, and they're just negative, and they're just there, and they're like, and they're just growly and Karens. So
Being Karen-y.
Yeah.
Do they want to talk to the manager?
totally.
And then someone's actually asking if you have specific guides or you just let whatever spirits come through as needed.
Everybody has millions of angels and spirits. People think there's only Archangel Michael. They hide behind a flame. I'm like, why? There's so many loving spirits, and you are very ancient. Your soul is billions of years old. And your ancestors and that, there's so many of them around you, and they're just one group. They're just a spirit family. They don't want you to call them Archangel Michael or Granny this or Granny that. In the natives, we just say grandmothers, grandfathers. And we just allow them. There's times where I see Chinese guys come in, and a really ancient Chinese guy, and I'm like, whoa, whoever you are is like, you know your shit, but I don't ask him his name, and he's just there, and he just helps me, and he leaves. He doesn't ask me for anything. He just comes in, does his stuff, and then he's gone. So other times there's other things. Sometimes Buddha comes in. Sometimes Joshua Ben Jerusalem comes in. All kinds of different spirit beings come in. They know why they need to come in. I don't need to command them. I don't need to know. They're just there. They're very loving. I've had the Virgin Mary come in. I've had all kinds of different things come. I don't order them around. They know why they're there. I ask a white buffalo calf woman to come in. I ask Gray Eagle to come in. I ask whoever wants to work with me today, please fill my day and help me. Whatever answers I need, whatever I need to do. And there's always some universal being that's very, very ancient, who's connected to God, that's going to support you throughout the day. You don't have to know the name. And to them, they're just energy. They don't care if you see them as a woman or a man, or if you see them as a big blue bubble or anything. Doesn't matter. They're just there to help in every beautiful way possible. You really trust in God, because you're indestructible. When you're finished with this body, you're going to find yourself in another one. And you may be Chinese, you may be Russian, you may be in the same culture, in the same family, you don't know. But you're going to reincarnate, you're going to take on another body, you're going to evolve and grow. And if you're in the age of Aquarius and you're going in the future, all the superstitions and fears and all these old things are going to go away. In 1,000 years, we're going to be totally different people. We're going to know the Creator in a whole new way because we're going to know it through science. And everything we do, when we start here and we go there, we're always going to have an outcome. And we're going to be able to prove everything. And people are going to live for very long. People are going to live 900, 1,000 years. People are going to choose to live very, very, very long times. They're not going to just spend 80 years and then throw their bodies away. Some people are maybe live 10,000 years. They say the body can live over 100,000 years.
Ageless.
Yeah, totally.
A couple people are seeing turtle energy around you.
Wow, thank you. Let's do the thank you prayer, the sending back, because new angels come in, new guides. If you really want to heal and change, let this newness in, new energies, new dreams, new future. Let them open up your chakras. Bring all those beautiful things you don't understand. Thank the angels for all the wonderful things that are already coming to you in the future, even though you don't see and understand them. Because there's many, many blessings. And the more you become thankful, the more you do these things, the bigger things will come in. More and more you will understand. And some of these things you might be afraid of, but they've been there and you don't understand it. Like I say, give things a chance. Give it a little while and see if it's good. And if it's not, ask the Creator to remove it. And just keep inviting in the abundance and the beauty for your home, your family, but ask everybody protected. Because some people want to still drink. Some people still want to party. Some people don't want to have anything to do with spirituality. You got to respect their journey and their path. You can't tell them they're wrong or they're right. It's between God and them, not you and me. So we'll light the smudge and we'll say the prayer. And just lots of good blessings. And thank you for sitting with us, especially the ones that are up like 2 o'clock in the morning, some other parts of the world. So we'll let you get some rest, and hopefully lots of beautiful things will happen and go on from here. Again, we'll call in the Creator, the Central Sun. We'll invite it into our homes, into our minds, our bodies, our soul, our chakras, our aura, our etheric, for cleansings, for healings, for protection, because we all need it in this time. There's so much energy and heaviness and things on the planet. And we want to connect higher and higher into the universe. So if there's anything there that's in the way, we ask the Creator to please give us answers. If there's disharmonious things in our homes, we ask the Creator to send in angels, guardians, healers, helpers, to bring answers, peace, and protection for each human being that is asking for this. We're asking for healings for our relatives, friends, and families. We're asking healings for ourselves from things we don't understand, especially for the natives, for what residential school and other things did, that they can start finding love for the native way and start practicing what our ancestors really understood and knew, where we come together as family and unite, and we realize we're connected to all other races, and we start working together and sharing the knowledge and lifting this planet to a better place. And we ask the angels, the ones that want to stay with us, the new ones that are going to support us into our future, the ones that are part of the 4th and 5th dimension, we ask you to come in. We ask you to start lifting the energies, helping the other old angels, old guards to release and move on. As you take in these new places, we ask you to help to open up our chakras to receive the new energies, the new ultraviolet lights, and how to work and live in this energy, to let go of the old 3rd dimension, to be able to sit and work in the 4th and 5th, to bless the world, to ask our hearts to be filled with all the wonderful things and prayers and thoughts. So wherever we go, there's just like little fairy dust flying off everywhere in directions. People are just receiving things in many wonderful ways. And we thank the Creator for all things, even the difficult challenges sometimes we don't understand. And if we want our 3 lower chakras healed, we're asking the universe to help us to understand how to move through it faster so we can start getting ourselves prepared to move into this higher energy to help more people to become who we truly came here to be. We ask the Creator to make us in His image, not in the world, not in anything else, but what our souls came here to truly be. And we ask these prophecies of the condor and the eagle coming together, for the red and the white snake to come together, for the golden children, the crystal children, the rainbow children, the rainbow warriors, all these prophecies to be fulfilled, for God to connect with all the children of light for the future, to protect them and their mothers and their fathers to get into the future, to be supported and helped by the Earth Mother. And we thank for all the new gifts, all the wonderful things, but we thank also our ancestors and angels of the past, and we give them permission to move on, to reincarnate and grow more. And all these old gnarly ones, all these Karens and that are still stuck around in the spirit world, we ask that they get permission to move on and heal and grow. They are not a part of our lives because we're here to walk our path. We're here to evolve and grow spiritually and do something big that they don't understand. They have fears and they're stuck in their energies. And if we have anything from past lives to do with poverty or lack or whatever it is, we had vows from other lifetimes. Those vows can stay in these other lifetimes. They're not welcome in this one now. And we can have our abundance, our joy, and our happiness, whatever is truly ours in the future. And we welcome all those good things. And we ask our homes to be filled with the Earth Mother's energy. Her children, the 4-leg, 2-leg, wing ones, free ones, feather ones, standing people, rock people, sky people, water people. We ask the star brothers and sisters who are going to work with the future to come on in and be with us night and day, helping us in every way possible. We call in the new divas, the new ultraviolet lights, the new chakra energies and flowers. We call in our new spiritual armor and energies God's going to bless us with. We call in our gifts and our ability to go around the world to all those other people that were apart since the beginning and bless their homes if they're asleep. Help them to receive the things they've been asking for, whatever healings, whatever peace, to let go of the fears and realize it's just an illusion, to start focusing on the future and manifesting the joys and the happiness instead of looking back in the past and being stuck there. And somewhere we carry an energy and light that's going to lift this planet and help the Earth Mother in every way. We ask that to be grounded and blessed by God, to be with us 24 hours a day, even in our sleep. Many beautiful things going on. And I pray nothing but good angels, light, love, healing, and blessings come into each of your home. Heal you if you're on a path that maybe you got deceived into. Somewhere you learned something you didn't need to. Somewhere you get your answer and only good things come to you. So thank you again. And I pray only good things to all of you. Hey, hey.
Hey.